are fixated on this track. Beautiful landscape sits along the highways of central Michigan. It's quiet now, but not for long. The Irish Hills, you'll need a little luck to get through this one. Johnny was on the spot last week to move into the top 5, and who would have thought he'd be without a win? 1 year ago, he became a red horse. He has to get by the guy with future in-laws in the stands. And what about our latest winner? The Onion peeled off another one last week. With Motor City only 80 miles away, the little town of Brooklyn is Motor Central this weekend. Next up for the flatbeds, a chance to slam the throttle flat to the floor. Get ready, the setup presented by Polaris is on. Hello everyone, welcome to The Setup. I'm Krista Voda. Every week we take you right into the middle of it all. Today is no different. Sprint Cup final practice just wrapped up. That means the Truck Series drivers and their teams are thrashing to get themselves ready for today's race. These guys thrive on pressure. Speaking of pressure, what about the outcome we saw last week? Truck Series sharing the track in Texas with Indy cars, but it wasn't Dario or even Danica in the spotlight. Instead, it was one of our own. Let's take a look back at our last race at Texas.
A rookie on the pole. Austin Dillon will bring the field to the green flag tonight.
They will run wide open for several laps around this racetrack.
Todd Bodine is setting a blistering pace.
Look, are they going to go 4 wide off turn 2?
5 wide as they go through the middle of the backstretch.
How about Ricky Carmichael making it 5 wide? Oh, look at that
contact.
He was trying to get between the 7 of Justin Lofton and the 0-1, didn't quite make it.
It just keeps getting worse for David Starr. David just came on the radio and said now something's broke.
Hear that tire?
Yep, that left rear tire blew. The 4 of Ricky Carmichael looks as though he may have blown a right front tire.
What a great run Ricky was having. He was currently being shown in the 7th position.
Oh, it's smoke now out of the 88 of Matt Crafton.
Rear tires rubbing. We cannot risk this. We have got to come in and fix this.
And they're not changing tires, just pulling the fender out to relieve that pressure off of that tire.
Holiday's on the inside. They make contact. Look at him beating and banging back there.
Todd Bodine back in front. Ron Hornaday runs second. Here comes Johnny Sauter through the grass. David Starr is sideways, and Matt Crafton with a lot of damage as well. Green flag back in the air. Todd Bodine takes the lead.
What a great time for a great restart for Todd Bodine. Oh, he gets loose.
Hornaday loose up the racetrack. Coming out of turn number 4. The 30 of Todd Bodine wins 6 times at Texas.
This one is just getting good. Just 22 points separate 8th through 10th. Over half of these guys still looking for victory lane, including Crafton, Skinner, and Hornaday. Up front, the Top Gun was able to pad his lead after that historic 6th win at Texas. Ray Dunlap is with our leader, Todd Bodine.
Well, pretty hard to wipe the smile off this guy's face. Anytime we're in that victory lane at Texas, you got the same truck as you had last week. Can the results be the same today at Michigan?
I think so. You know, of course, we didn't get a lot of practice, so we only had, I think we had 8 or 10 laps on the track, but the truck really drove incredibly well. It was good and free without being loose, and that's what you got to have here at Michigan. It's got to be free to run fast. You know, it's the same, like you say, it's the same truck, and the only thing different is we don't have Valvoline on the side this week, but we're real happy for them to be there in victory lane. But we got a shot at them.
We're sure there's going to be a first-time Michigan winner today. There's a pretty good chance this guy will be on that list.
Ron Hornaday, the farthest into a season you've ever gone without a win was race number 7. And this is race number 9. Do you feel a sense of urgency now to get to victory lane?
Oh yeah, especially it's the last race here for Longhorn More Snuff, and they've been such a great sponsor, and I'd like to win this one for them. We've got a really good truck. It's the best qualifying effort we ever had at Michigan, so we'll see what the weather does. Hopefully, the sun goes in and out. We're gonna have to make some adjustments. I think we put some pretty good adjustments in this truck.
The kid starting next to you was 12 years old when you drove for his grandfather, Austin Dillon. Now, is that amazing or what?
I hope he remembers that. No. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's what just says a lot about what this Camping World Truck Series is all about. Just good equipment for everybody. I mean, this is the closest field we've had in a long, long time in the Truck Series, and Michigan puts on a great show. So I'm sure you'll see 5 wide in the first corner with these guys, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, thanks, Ron. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Ron Hornaday will start from the 2nd position, Krista.
All right, thanks, Phil. And as you alluded to, Austin Dillon will be on the pole. There you see Hornaday. You know, he is one of the great storytellers in this field. Michigan, one of only 8 tracks where Hornaday has not won. Should he win today, he'd not only check Michigan off his list, but also be in victory lane for the first time this year. We've got a lot more insight and interviews still to come, including one of the biggest charity events of the year, and the Truck Series was well represented. We will take you there. Also, what made the list of some of our best moments at Michigan? Well, here's a hint. They call it the house that Roush built for a reason. Some great finishes at Michigan, and we will take you there. Plus, we sit down with a rising star, find out what you never knew you always needed to know about James Buescher. All that and more, the setup just starting here at one of the fastest tracks on the circuit, Michigan International Speedway. More of the setup still to come. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all of your service, maintenance, and collision repair needs. And by Wrangler. For unbeatable comfort and value, you can count on Wrangler Jeans Company.
Biffle's got just enough. He's going to hold on and take the win for Ford in Detroit.
Robert Presley will get a win. First time out for Square D.
Going to be Johnny Benson winning the Conway Freight 200.
Woo! We're right on the start-finish line, and we could not tell who won the race.
Just a little taste of what can happen at this track. That was 2 years ago. It was the 2nd closest finish in Truck Series history, but number 1 and number 3 happened before modern scoring. That was in the series' inaugural year. Eric Darnell in good company with Butch Miller and Terry Labonte. Of course, close finishes, no surprise here at this track. We will likely see another one here today as the Camping World Truck Series drivers get ready to go racing at Michigan. But you know, this is not the first racing some of these guys have done even this week. The biggest charity event, one of the biggest charity events in all of NASCAR, took place at Eldora Speedway on Wednesday. Tony Stewart's Prelude to the Dream. And as we told you, the Truck Series well represented. That is Ricky Carmichael. Now, he is used to racing on dirt, but it's with 2 wheels. That's Eric Almirola. He finished 14th. Kyle Busch, no surprise to see him up front. Kyle finished 4th, but he was the captain of the winning team, meaning Levine Children's Hospital took home a big check for charity. Jimmy Johnson was the winner overall of the event. But as we said, a lot of the drivers were well represented. We had Kyle Busch, Ricky Carmichael, Eric Almirola, and I think Ricky Carmichael might be standing by to talk about that event.
Ricky, I know how bitterly disappointed you were last week at Texas. That was by far your best run from start to finish. I know how hard it was for you not to be able to finish the deal. What's it going to take here to get over that and finish the deal here at Michigan?
Well, we started off really good, really. The Monster Energy Chevrolet unloaded good, top 10 all day. Didn't qualify as good as we wanted to, 11th, but the thing feels awesome. And I really learned a lot last week in Texas, and looking to finish the deal that I didn't finish at Texas. So I'm happy, can't wait to get out and race.
All right, Ricky Carmichael, great qualifying effort in 11th, looking for win number 1 here in a stock vehicle.
Well, let's find out what Eric Almirola thinks about Michigan. Where do you put this racetrack on your list of favorites?
It's definitely up there. You know, especially coming here in the trucks, we can run all over this place. It'll be wild today. It'll be 4 or 5 wide, especially on restarts. So it's going to be exciting, and the fans are going to get their money worth. Our Graceway Pharmaceuticals Toyota Tundra is really good today. It drove really good in practice yesterday. So we'll see. Hopefully it drafts good. This is drafting's real important here. So hopefully it'll draft good, and we'll be in good shape.
Okay, have a good day. Eric Almirola will roll off 10th.
Elliott Sadler, how much fun is it to jump in these trucks? This is your 4th start of the year, and it looks like you're having a blast.
I really am, and you know, I've watched on speed for the last couple of years and watching how hard these guys race and all these close finishes and 4 and 5 wide. It's like, man, that looks fun. And these races this year have been a load of fun. I love driving for KHI, and we got Grange Insurance on the truck today, and it's been a lot of fun. These guys race hard because it's only 200 miles. You can run these things 2 and 3 wide. They got a lot of side forces stuff in them, and they put on a great show. So it's been a lot of fun for me to drive this 2 truck, and looking forward to driving it for a couple more races this year.
All right, go get introduced so you don't lose that top 5 starting position.
Okay, good advice, Phil. Good job.
Elliott Sadler starts for the in the top 5 for the 4th time this year, Ray.
And Phil, I want to talk to Mike Skinner. Not your best qualifying effort here, but how's your truck for race conditions?
Truck's driving great, and it's been driving good here lately, but this is sure messing up a good qualifying average that we've had for years and years. And you know, when you go to these places, last 4 racetracks we went to, the brakes are pulled back, you're taped up, and you're wide open. So it's just all we had right now. So we got to work on our bodies, keep working on our trucks, and get our international trucks, Monaco RVs, Tundra, a little bit more like it used to be.
Big question, Mike, is we were scheduled to have 2 practices here. One got rained out. How much did that hurt?
Well, you know, we were getting ready to try a complete different setup, move to a different spring to set on, and we didn't get that opportunity, so we just put it back like we raced it last year, and we ran awfully good last year. We got the nose knocked in and still finished pretty good. So I think it's going to drive good. Hopefully it races good, but the truck just doesn't have a lot of speed. So, you know, as you get closer to the front, they're going to get harder and harder to pass.
All right, well, drafting, that's the key to success for Mike Skinner today. Krista?
All right, he's still looking for that first win of 2010 as well. Well, one thing we know will happen today, with no former Michigan winners in the field, we will see a first-timer today. Rick Allen and Michael Waltrip are upstairs standing by, and guys, it's not often you can make a guarantee like that.
No, and it's a pretty good guarantee. We've had 10 previous races here, and no former winners are in the field, so we are going to have a first-time winner. But we also have a lot of memories that come from this racetrack, and that's what I always enjoy about this segment, is that we get to take a look at, guys, your high school pictures here of Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. You know, Michael, I would like you to tell me a little bit about that momentous day in 2004 here at this track.
Well, the 2004 season was significant because Toyota came NASCAR racing, and they got their first win here at Michigan with Travis Quapple. He won for Bang Racing. It's the first of their 70 wins in the truck. So once they got rolling, they've been pretty solid ever since then. Travis grabbed the lead from his teammate Mike Skinner with 17 laps to go and never looked back. That's a good feeling right there. It's not so good for the people that painted the logo.
But it was a momentous day because the fact that he had Line-X on his truck at the time, and that was the sponsor of the race as well, and so he got to victory lane and got Toyota their first ever win in the stock car world of NASCAR. So
yeah,
very
certainly. And when they came truck racing, everybody said, wow, Toyota's here. And they've been a great partner to NASCAR over the years, not only in trucks, but also nationwide and Sprint Cup.
Speaking of partners, our partner is on pit road right now. Phil, take us through your memory lane.
Well, Rick, it's always great to see a young driver get that first win. And last year was no exception with Colin Brown getting that first win. Now, that wasn't the first win for Roush Fenway. That's the 3rd win in a row for Roush Fenway. Travis Quapple won a couple years ago. Eric Darnell won the year before that, and Colin Brown gets to victory lane. Jack Roush is so excited and happy to win at Michigan in his backyard. That was a great day for Roush Fenway. They've won 5 of the 10 races here at Michigan International Speedway, but they will not win this one because there are no Roush Fenway trucks in the field, and that's really too bad. But a great day last year for Colin Brown, and a super moment for Roush and Fenway.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. I know it was special for Colin, as you said. Roush Fenway, this place always been such a special place for that organization. Yeah, and you know, who will we see in victory lane today? Perhaps another fresh face, especially considering the kind of runs we saw last week in Texas. Let's go ahead and give you a big old thumb. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. And by Herculiner truck bed liners. With Herculiner, the tough comes easy.
James Busher is now back full-time in the Camping World Truck Series.
James Busher trying to take second away.
James is having a big weekend, isn't he?
How about James Busher in fourth spot?
James Busher, impressive.
No question that young man has been turning heads here recently. Welcome back to the setup presented by Polaris, coming at you live from the Michigan International Speedway. Well, each week we tell you someone to keep your eye on, but for the last few weeks we've been telling you it's not a new face, it's an old face. Well, maybe not in age, but at least in familiarity to the Truck Series. James Busher's only 20 years old, but he's having a second go-around in the Camping World Truck Series, and this time he's making it count.
Going into 2010, planning on running full-time nationwide and partial truck schedule for Turner Motorsports, and you know, got part of the way into the season of the nationwide, and things weren't really working out with the team, and I ran one truck race for Turner Motorsports at Kansas, and you know, things were working there, so we kind of shifted gears and moved over and decided to run the rest of the year in the trucks. 4 races, 2 top 5s, and then a 6th place finish. And I think Kansas, our first race out with this team, would have been a top 5. We didn't run out of gas with 8 or 9 laps to go. So everybody's been working really hard at Turner Motorsports, and everybody's seeing Ricky Carmichael's been running better this year than he has in the past, and he's right around 10th in points. So for a startup team, that's really, really good. They've worked really hard to put together really good equipment, and they don't cut any corners anywhere, so we're showing up at the racetrack and unloading really fast, and I've got no complaints whenever we show up to the racetrack. I mean, the trucks are fast. I don't even know what to tell them to make them better, so it's definitely exciting to be able to run in the top 5 all week long, and you know, I hope it doesn't change. I hope we get faster and be able to run in the top 2 every week, or lead every lap, or you know, just always get better. And I think we definitely have room to get better. We don't have to worry about points. We missed the first 4 races, so we kind of just have a different attitude than a lot of the teams. We can focus on just showing up at the racetrack and wanting to win, other than wanting to finish in the top 5 for a good points night. We don't have to worry about points. I want to be running up front in whatever I'm doing it in. So I hope we win real soon. I think it's right around the corner for us. So we finished 2nd at Dover and 4th at Charlotte, and we've qualified 2nd, we've qualified 3rd. We've been really fast everywhere, so I think a win's right around the corner. I don't really know where we might have an advantage, because we're a startup team. The team's going all these places for the first time, and I really don't know what we have that runs better at certain places. I don't know if our trucks run better at Michigan or at, you know, Gateway. So I think our trucks run good everywhere, so hopefully we can win every race.
Obviously, an interesting point about that story is that they're not running for points. So does that give you an advantage where you guys can take a risk that others might not?
You know, you definitely can always take more risks when you're not running for points. You know, we're not running for points in the 31 truck, you know, because we didn't go to the first 4 races. So I think the way we've been running the 4 races that we did run, I think if we would have started out at Daytona with everybody else, we would be in the hunt for the points. But, you know, starting at Kansas, I think we can take more risks on fuel mileage or pit strategy or a lot of different things, and not really have to worry about getting a strong top 5 finish. We're trying to get our first win for this team and get up there and lead laps and win races.
I think if he gets a win or 2, he won't worry too much about not being in the points. Let's check in with Phil.
Austin Dillon, last week at Texas, on the pole, finished 3rd. Best career starts and finishes. Now, you've been here before. You finished 2nd last year in an ARCA race. Is that going to be enough for you to maybe get to victory lane for the first time?
Well, I know these guys have done a great job preparing this truck, and I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a little tougher than the ARCA race, you know, but I think we got a truck to stay up front and be there at the end.
It's been a few years since your granddad had a win here. I think back in 2003 was the last win RCR had here. How about putting RCR back in victory lane? What do you think of that?
You know, I'm sure he'd be great, and my grandfather would be very happy for Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops, and we're here to do it. That's what we came to do, and hopefully we can keep her up there all day.
Second pole in a row for Austin Dillon, looking for career win number 1.
Well, Kyle Busch has 71 wins in NASCAR, but only 1 at Michigan. Can you fix that stat today?
I certainly hope so, Ray. You know, we've had some good trucks here in the past. I think I finished second maybe 3 years in a row. I'm not sure, but always getting beat by that Roush truck, and it's not here this year. So hopefully we've got something for them today with our Kyle Busch Motorsports Tundra, but we'll see how it goes. You know, just want to thank the folks from Hell of a Good, and of course Flexco being our new associate this week. Real excited about those guys coming on board. So hopefully we give a good show to those guys.
Can you give me an idea of the grade that you would assess to your truck team so far at this point of the season?
Well, I'd say for where we're at in points, for how we've done, for how Brian Eichler's done in the truck, you got to give ourselves an A. You know, we've done an excellent job coming up from bare scratch, nothing in the off season, to running really well and being up front week in and week out. And that's what I'm excited about, and hopefully we can fulfill some sponsorships here for the rest of the year and try to keep going, of course, and then be ready for next year.
Okay, 3 second-place finishes for Kyle Busch in the trucks at Michigan.
All right, thanks, Ray. And I know Kyle is his own worst critic, so I'm excited that he gave himself an A. You know, here at Michigan, no one is critical of the changes that have been put in place, a multi-million-dollar improvement package. I'm actually standing in front of one of the biggest upgrades, a brand new media center. You see it there. So impressive. New suites, new lounge area for all the writers. It is impressive indeed. $55 million over 3 years. They just finished this amazing upgrade. Outdoorsy facade, perfect for the Camping World Truck Series. The white flag is out here on the setup. We will wrap it up next here on Speed. You are either in Detroit, Rock City, or the Bluegrass this weekend. The Nationwide Series racing in Kentucky tonight, the Cup Series here in Michigan tomorrow. Of course, the Camping World Truck Series getting ready to race in Michigan as well. And then we're going on summer vacation, a 3-week break. But don't worry, you can still follow all of your favorite drivers on Twitter. Be sure and follow us at NCWTS on Speed. You know, Elliott Sadler says if you think this isn't real racing, guess again. David Starr, the only driver in this field who has been to every single one at Michigan. Our thanks, as always, to all of our servicemen and women, the VFW 200 now.
Motor City built its name on a slice of the American dream.
We know how much winning at this racetrack in the backyard of Detroit means.
There's plenty of congratulating for Tim Flock's victory in the Motor City 250.
The Big Three saw racing as a way to showcase what they sold on their showroom floors.
If a car can hold together here, it must be tough.
A trophy on Sunday meant sales on Monday.
You want to come to Dodge City, basically, you know, Detroit, and win for them.
But to win in front of those who have given generations of sweat and tears to the assembly lines down the street proves to be more than just another victory. Truck racing at Michigan starts now on Speed.
Welcome to the Irish Hills of Michigan, and welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series VFW 200 on Speed. Bit of an overcast day. Normally the fans that show up at Michigan International Speedway are associated with the manufacturing of these different vehicles, and so they have pride in who gets to victory lane. Well, we've had 10 previous races, and of those 10 previous races, we do not have a former winner in the field today. That's one of the stories we're going to be looking forward to. Now on pit road, Ray Dunlap has another story that we'll look forward to.
Well, Rick, I think you got to talk about Roush Fenway Racing. Anytime there's a race at Michigan International Speedway, they've won 5 times of the 10 events that we've run here at this racetrack. But today, no official Roush Fenway entry. However, there is a truck in the field today that we're going to keep an eye on, and that's Jason White. He's driving a truck that came from Roush Fenway Racing. It's chassis number 60. He thinks it's pretty good. He's starting deep in the field, but he believes it won't be long till the 23 is up front. Krista?
Ray, I want to keep an eye on Timothy Peters in the 17. He is celebrating an anniversary this weekend. It's been 1 year since he's been with Red Horse Racing. He, of course, gave them one of the biggest wins ever with that win at Daytona earlier this year. But why will he be a factor here at Michigan? Well, he turned more laps in practice, 23 laps than any other truck. And because that was the only practice, with final practice getting rained out, I think he has an advantage here at Michigan.
And you see all of the fans standing, getting ready for our pre-race ceremonies. Again, with 10 races previously run here and no former winner, that is one story we're going to be looking at. We've got a couple guys in the field that are looking for a win today. Ron Hornaday is the deepest into the season before his first win in his career in the Camping World Truck Series. He starts on the front row. He may get to victory lane today. We'll have to pay attention and watch for that. Let's go trackside now for our invocation and national anthem.
And now, presenting today's colors, the Michigan Army National Guard, Fort Custer Training Center, Battle Creek, Michigan. And here with today's invocation, Father Jeff Rose of Lumen Christi High School in Jackson, Michigan.
Almighty God, we thank you for this day. We ask for just a little more good weather for this VFW 200. We pray with gratitude for all of the veterans of foreign wars, and we remember in a particular way a local hero, First Lieutenant Joel Gentz of Grass Lake, who gave his life this week rescuing other soldiers. We ask for protection of our drivers and their teams, and may God bless us all. Amen.
And now with the U.S. National Anthem, here once again the Children's Patriot Choir from VFW National Home for Children.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Children's Patriot Choir and our flyover today, a B-25 Yankee Warrior from the...
And so the drivers getting their last moments of inspiration from their crews before they strap into the trucks. And the B-25 doing the flyover today. Getting underway. Everyone focused on the green flag and their strategy to get up front at Michigan International Speedway. The green flag coming up next. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all your service, maintenance, and collision repairs. By Herculiner, truck bed liners. With Herculiner, the tough comes easy. And by Toyota. Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. A great crowd on hand for today's truck race. And let's go back to Krista Voda as she will get us reset up with the Polaris Reset Up.
That's right, Rick. I've jumped over the other side of the wall. Let's get you caught up on our big storylines. Weather toying with us a little bit today, a little bit overcast, but Mother Nature has already affected the Truck Series schedule. Final practice was wiped out. That means the Truck Series drivers only had one session on track. Ron Hornaday was quickest in that one. It's not often you can make a guarantee at a racetrack, but I can guarantee there will be a first-time Michigan winner. None of the previous winners are in this field, meaning the likes of Hornaday, Bodine, Skinner, Crafton, even Kyle Busch could win. They have never won at Michigan. And we mentioned Hornaday. He starts second. He's on the front row. Who is better than him on the pole? Someone over half his age. Austin Dillon on the pole for the second time in a row. Michigan has only been one from the pole one time. That was in 2007. Austin Dillon will try to rewrite history today.
Well, we love seeing history being made, and this racetrack is very historic as far as finishes here, Phil. We've had one of the closest ever.
We really have, considered the second closest finish ever in the history of the series a couple years ago when Eric Darnell beat Johnny Benson by 5/1000ths of a second, or about an inch and 3/8, something like that. But this racetrack is wide, and we're going to see racing 2, 3, 4, 5 wide all over the racetrack. Drafting is very critical here. Guys told me in the garage area that they picked up over a half a second in the draft. And Michael, by the way, it's fast.
Oh, it's real fast. These guys will be drafting. That'll mess with fuel mileage, which means there's going to be a lot of strategy on pit road. So there'll be a lot going on today.
And let's get things kicked off with the starting of the engines. We go down for the command.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports. Once again, here's your Grand Marshal, Michael Montang.
Drivers, start your engine!
Krista mentioned that the final practice was wiped out from yesterday. A little bit of moisture in the area, but we don't think it's going to rain. We're going to get some racing done. Stay with us. Welcome back to the VFW 200 from Michigan International Speedway here in Brooklyn, Michigan. A little over an hour away from Detroit to the west. Take a look at our weather. 82 degrees, overcast skies. There are some fronts that are coming, but they are back by one of the Great Lakes, so they're a ways away from us. So we've got some time before the rains come, so we're going to enjoy some racing. Our starting grid is going to roll across the bottom of the screen. Austin Dillon going back to back, starting up front with the pole.
There's 5 of those lakes. Do you know which one its fronts are nearest? That's going to make quite a big difference.
Yeah, the one to our west. The Z-Max track description for this 2-mile racetrack.
You can see the corners are banked. They're relatively flat, 18 degrees, and that's why these guys will fan out using this racetrack.
Yeah, when they get down to the corners, they want to leave that foot right on the floorboard. They dive in there, and they're going to use all the space they can get because there isn't the banking there, the big, tall bank to hold them. They just need all that room to swing through these big corners. A lot of gas, a lot of foot on the floorboard, like I said in the brief opening, and these guys will be using it as much as they can.
Take a look at our Royal Purple race analysis.
You can see 36 trucks will start the race, 200 miles, 100 laps, a purse just under $500,000. Pit window you talked about, very, very critical. Talked to some guys in the garage here, said, I don't think we can go but 33 or 34 laps, and I've got other guys saying that they can go 40 laps plus.
And a whole lot of times we get some good green flag racing, long green flag racing, and so fuel mileage, fuel strategy can come into play. We've seen it just about every time, it seems like, in the Sprint Cup races, and every now and then it happens in the trucks too.
We're going to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers, and Ray Dunlap, who's in your spotlight today?
Well, Rick, I want to talk about Donnie Leah in the 07. You know, at the top of the show, I told you that Jason White was driving a Ford. Well, because of that, they had one better truck in the field for Donnie Leah, and they gave him a truck called Bullet. He is going to start 13th on the record books, but he'll have to drop to the tail of the field today for an unapproved adjustment. So if Donnie Leah is going to make his way to the front, he's going to have a lot of trucks to pass. Krista?
Keep your eye on Chase Austin, racing for a very special charity, the Forgotten Harvest Million Meal Challenge. Walgreens encouraging people in southeastern Michigan to donate food for the Million Meal Challenge. It's his 2010 season debut. He raced 2 races in 09, including Fontana, a track very similar to Michigan. Why else does he love Detroit? Eminem is his favorite rock star. Come on, he's a local boy.
Krista, I want to take a look at 24-year-old Nelson Piquet Jr. from Brazil. His father was a 3-time Formula One champion. Nelson has run 3 truck races this year, and he hopes to run 7 in order to retain his rookie status. He's had 2 top 10 finishes in those 3 races. He finished 12th yesterday in the ARCA race, and he starts 14th today, Mikey.
Phil, let's look at the girl starting back in the 27th spot. It's a birthday girl. Jennifer Jo Cobb's birthday is today. She's coming off of her best finish at Texas last week of a 14th position. She's got 2 top 20s in the last 2 races, making her first start here at Michigan. She's a dirt racer from Kansas City. Her father, Joe Cobb, taught her everything she knew about the dirt. Now she's trying to make it big in NASCAR.
And while we're talking about Jennifer Jo Cobb, she is carrying one of our onboard cameras. She'll start in the 27th position. We'll see how she does in the field.
We're also going to ride along with Johnny Sauter. Johnny had that big win early this year at Kansas. Going to try to make it 2 wins here at Michigan for that number 13 truck. He starts 6th today.
You see Jay White here. He's riding along in a Ford. This is the first time that he's had a Ford at the racetrack since Daytona. He's really pumped up about this truck. Feels like this is what he needs to have the kind of performance we saw out of him at Daytona, where he started on the pole and finished 4th.
And the driver with the most recent win in the Camping World Truck Series. Todd Bodine will also carry one of our cameras, the Toyota onboard. On board with the Valvoline number 30 for Todd Bodine. We'll see how he does starting from the 7th position. Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap for his thoughts before the green flag.
Well, you know, Rick, so far this year there have been a lot of great racing, and we've had 21 drivers post their career best finish already in 2010. But when we look at Michigan specifically, there's an unbelievable list of drivers who have not won at this track. And I believe that there's a good chance that many of the guys on this list you're looking at today have a shot at posting their career best. Obviously, with Jason White and Timothy Peters and Almirola, all those guys on that list looking for a good run today. But how about Kyle Busch? He's never won here. 3 times he's finished second. Today just might be the day. Krista?
Ray, I disagree. Kyle Busch will not win this race, and it's for the reason you just said. 4 starts, 3 times he's finished second. He is a Michigan bridesmaid. He will not win this race because of those second-place finishes. His worst finish, though, I mean, it's still a top 10, 7th in 2008, but he has his worst starting position, 8th here today.
I thought everybody's records were all messed up when they said there wasn't going to be a winner in the field today when they threw the green
You
flag.
were pretty sure we were going to have one?
I knew that. Well, I knew that Kyle Busch had won here before. I mean, I just was convinced everywhere we go he's won. So how did he not win here? But darn, you dig into it. 3 second-place finishes and no wins.
The guys that look good in practice obviously are going to be able to maybe equate that into a good run here today for this race. But especially in the qualifying effort, Ron Hornaday looked very strong.
He really did. And all the Chevrolets really look strong. The first 6 spots, as you can see, Chevrolets. Talked to a lot of the Toyota guys, and they felt like their trucks have a little bit more drag than the Chevrolets do. Now, Mikey, we talk about these guys holding that throttle down all the way. When they start backing off a little bit, then downforce is going to come into play.
Certainly. And when you've got 6 trucks, 6 Chevrolets in the front of the field, you know there's got to be some sort of advantage there. But that's for 1 lap wide open. What happens when they do start letting off that gas?
Austin Dillon chose to take the outside line after winning the pole. He will bring the field to the green flag at Michigan. It's in the air. We're underway. Just as the field crossed the stripe, the sun peeked through, and now we have sun on the racetrack.
Did you see that move Hornaday made? He reached over there and got just the barely back corner of Austin Dillon's bumper, sucked some air off of him, and it propelled him right to the lead.
And then he went in the corner in the 3rd lane. Austin had no choice but to go way up high.
Side by side for second. Austin Dillon on the outside. Now James Buscher's dropping back. Here comes Elliott Sadler in the 2 on the inside.
Trying to make it 4 wide. We're doing our best on the first lap.
Absolutely. I talked to a lot of guys in the garage area as we see Kyle Busch go right up through the middle that he said, we'll probably be 4 wide by the time we get to turn 1.
Well, they were right. These people are going for it early on.
Ron Hornaday just in front of that 3 of Austin Dillon. So Hornaday leads the first lap at Michigan International Speedway. Austin Dillon running in second. Matt Crafton, Elliott Sadler, James Buscher, Kyle Busch, your top 6.
Look at Kyle. Look to the inside of Elliott Sadler. Has the left sides below the yellow line.
And here comes Austin Dillon on the bottom of the racetrack trying to get the lead from Ron Hornaday. Matt Crafton is going to draft up behind Hornaday, though, and push him back past Austin Dillon.
You think drafting doesn't matter here? I was talking to some of the guys, and Michael, they said, this is like Speedway racing out here.
Look at Crafton. He's been wound up on the top. He's going for the lead off 4.
Here we go. 3 wide for the lead as they come out of 4 on lap number 2 at Michigan. The 88 of Matt Crafton has the advantage on the bottom of the racetrack. The 3 of Austin Dillon will cross the stripe second. Here comes Hornaday 3rd.
Look at Kyle Busch up the middle. No, I'm going to the bottom of the racetrack. He goes, grabs 2nd spot away from Dillon.
Perfect situation for Kyle Busch. They were running side by side in front of him. That slowed them down. He got a great run off the corner, past a couple trucks.
How fun is this? 5 trucks all lined up in a... Well, they're not in a row. They go every which way.
Oh, by the way, we're on lap 3. 3 of 100, and already we've had some wild changes up front. Here comes Elliott Sadler now with some momentum. How about the 18 of Kyle Busch trying to take the point away from Crafton?
How about that advantage Chevrolet had there in qualifying for 1 lap?
And right out front now on lap number 4, Kyle Busch in front of the field in his Toyota.
Well, we've had 4 laps and 3 different leaders, and that's at the start-finish line. There's been a couple more on the back straightaway.
Yeah, we've actually only completed 3 laps, so we've had a different leader each and every lap.
We'll see if anyone can chase down that 18 now. Kyle Busch has been very strong again. Busch started in the 8th spot, and by lap 4, he was already up front.
See back here.
Oh, spinner on the racetrack. That's
2 trucks.
The 84.
Get her turn.
Chris Fontaine.
They missed the wall or not?
No, they're into the wall.
See the 84 of Chris Fontaine.
Brad Sweet in the 90 Great Clips truck there as well.
I don't know if Fontaine ever got the wall. I don't know if Sweet did either. I don't think.
If that's a mark on the wall there or not, I'm not sure.
Michigan did a great job of paving all that back there. Years ago, that was grass, and when cars or trucks got into that grass, it was a mess. Now they just went for a long slide, flattened their tires, but I don't believe either one of those trucks got any damage.
I remember Johnny Benson coming here in his first ever nationwide race, getting upside down.
Take another look at what just happened.
Look, top of your screen, that's the 90 of Brad Sweet. He gets together with the 84. He just passed another truck, and they got together with the 84. See, they're going to
look at that synchronized spinning.
Wow,
we've seen that before.
It's an Olympic event, or
or a Kansas event.
Just check it out. What happens is Sweet had some momentum coming off the second turn, had his wheels cut hard to the left, trying to lay off of Fontaine, got loose. The back end came around, and away they went.
I'm going to call that an 8 in synchronized spinning. What about the Russian judge, Mikey?
He gave him a 4.
Those Russian judges are tough.
And so they stop. A little bit of contact there for Brad Sweets. And that brings out our first caution, and it was on lap 4.
He just skinned his paint a little bit. That's it.
Right over there, just a tiny bit of contact.
While all that was happening at the back of the field, Kyle Busch is out front leading at Michigan. Tomorrow, NASCAR Race Day ranges into Michigan as Darrell Waltrip makes his race day debut to break down the fallout from Pocono. Plus, we'll take an inside look at the struggles of Roush Fenway Racing. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Michigan tomorrow at 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
After practice today, it looks like those struggles could be over for Roush Fenway Racing. A bunch of fast forwards up there toward the top of the pylon here in Michigan.
And we need to find out what happened with the 13 team. Chris, did they come onto pit road?
Yeah, they did, Rick. Johnny was saying that his truck was out of control sideways. Crew Chief Joe Shear Jr. said, well, getting in, getting out, I mean, where is it? He said all the way around. He had no grip, so they said we have nothing to lose. Came in, fueled it up with some Sunoco fuel, and then lowered the track bar 3 rounds, Ray.
On my end, Krista, Ron Hornaday on the radio talking about how incredibly loose his Longhorn Chevrolet was. He said it really feels like it's aero loose. So I don't know, guys in the booth, if you can tell me the difference there, but that's what he said to his crew chief, Doug George. Real aero loose, especially through the center.
Well, basically, you can't fix aero loose at this point in time. You've sort of got to live with that. So the teams will have to figure out what kind of mechanical adjustments, tire pressure, wedge, track bar, they can make to that truck that might help the aero loose. You know, they could take a little bit of wedge, put some wedge in that right rear, raise that corner of the truck up and see if that'll help. But limited on your options when you're aero loose.
Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch and Matt Crafton were going to drag race, but Kyle Busch won it right as they crossed the stripe. So Kyle Busch, Matt Crafton 1 and 2, Austin Dillon on the high side, and Ron Hornaday down below in the 33. Hornaday making some ground up now.
Tell you that 88 truck has looked pretty strong from the drop of the green flag.
It has. I like his line. He wasn't shy about going right up to the top right off the bat. And, you know, everybody starts diving for the bottom. There's certainly plenty of room to race up top.
We've seen the momentum being carried through on quite a few drivers taking that high line. One of those being Elliott Sadler up in the number 2. That blue number 2 back 7 trucks back.
Austin Dillon going to take a look at Matt Crafton for second.
It's a strong truck as well. He's able to make moves down on the bottom, but Phil, you know, it's just so hard to complete those passes down there. That big long line of trucks drafting, you have to really fight that air by yourself, and it's hard to make ground on the straightaway. But in the turn, it's a shorter distance, so it looks like maybe he's going to make the pass, or no?
No, I think he's not going to be able to get him cleared. He needs a little help down there. This is not a whole lot unlike Speedway Racing. He needs a little bit of help. Now he's going to pull back in line behind Matt Crafton.
And here comes Hornaday now. He gets the run off of the back stretch and turn into turn 3, and Hornaday goes down to the bottom. Elliott Sadler continues to stay right up against the wall in that number 2.
He's going to move around the outside of the Wolfpack Reynolds Chevrolet of James Buescher. And how impressive has James Buescher been in the 3 races since he went full-time in the Truck Series? 2nd, 4th, and 6th. 3 wide going in 1.
We'll see how they do. Jason White on the outside. It looks as though the 5 of Mike Skinner drops back just a bit.
Nelson Piquet Jr., my spotlight driver in the 15 truck.
Got him a couple 100 miles of experience here yesterday in the ARCA race, so getting warmed up for these NASCAR truck races. That Nelson's just doing a great job learning the ropes here in NASCAR?
I asked him if there was enough similarity between the ARCA car and the truck. He said they are so much different. Obviously, the big hole that these trucks punch in the air and less horsepower. He said they're so different. I'm not sure that either one helps the other one.
But he learns the track. He understands what the tires do when they get hot. There is a lot that he can learn, but certainly the vehicles are quite a lot different. Heard Hornaday talking about being very loose, but he's able to hang right down on the bottom of the racetrack. A looser truck can run the bottom better than a tight truck, so I think that's why he's able to make ground and keep up with these two lead trucks. Look at Crafton. He needs a good run. After 8 races, oh, we got a blown engine.
46 of Chase Austin.
What a tough break. So optimistic coming in here. Krista talked about him with Walgreens, and
there's the caution.
Racing for a cause, and unfortunately it looks like it's going to be a short day for Chase Austin.
I was talking about Matt Crafton. After 8 races last year, Phil, he led the points. This year, back in 8th and desperately needs to get his season turned around. We've seen Johnny Sauter have some really strong runs, but Matt just hadn't been on that same pace that he was a year ago.
So the caution comes out for the second time. This one is for the 46 of Chase Austin, slow on the racetrack on lap number 12. So Randy Kaiser brings the pace car back out onto the racetrack.
You know, we're a third of the way probably into a pit window here, because the guys are not able to refill these trucks after qualifying. Some of the trucks are talking about only being able to run, you know, and especially on this first run, 32 or 33 laps. So especially if your truck is not handling well, I think this is a great opportunity to come in. This racetrack's very, very wide, a lot of room. You can come in, you can make your way back to the front, you can pass people here. Some racetracks, it's difficult to pass. This one you can pass.
I think if you come, though, you're going to need enough fuel, Phil, where you're going to maybe want 2 tires. You go throwing a bunch of gas into your truck with your older tires, it's going to change the balance of your truck. So maybe if you get a little bit of gas, you might get 2 tires to go along with it.
And this could be follow the leader.
Certainly.
Usually is.
If we see the 18 of Kyle Busch make the hard left turn onto pit road, you'll normally see the field follow behind. And so that will be the question as they come out of turn number 4. It looks as though Kyle is creeping down toward pit lane.
I wonder if he fakes his way down here. Will everyone go back to the racetrack? No, he's coming, and they're all coming.
He makes his way on to pit road, and that means the field will follow. Let's go to pit road and Chris Devoto.
Timothy Peters has momentum. He started 12. He's up to 7. The call from Jeff Hensley would be for fuel only. You see him there in the pit stall. The only issue they're having, possible radio issues. He said get another radio ready just in case. Ray?
Definitely going to get fuel only for Kyle Busch. They were talking about doing an air pressure adjustment for sure. Matt Crafton said he's very happy with the performance of his truck, and for Ron Hornaday, they're going gas only this time too. They wanted to do a track bar.
How about the problems for Matt Crafton, the crewman falling down, and it looked as though the gas can left the pit stall.
Well, it did, but he didn't carry it with him, though, so I'm not sure what NASCAR. They're going to take a look at it. They're watching our pictures. Let's take another look at it now. It was not attached to the truck when he left. Watch this now. Well, it actually was stuck to the truck, and the gas man did a terrific job of holding onto that can, so he did not leave his pit stall with it. So NASCAR's going to have to take a look at that, and whether they deem that equipment leaving the pit road or not, we're going to find out very soon.
You see the crew guys are holding the truck back so that Hornaday doesn't roll forward while they're trying to fuel it up. Makes the pit stop a little bit faster, but something went on over on the right rear with the inspector. Did you see that, Phil?
I did. I'm not sure exactly what that was about.
I'm sure that right rear tire was in the box. That's something that you would have been checking, and it looked like it would have been in the box.
Yeah.
Whoa, they changed their air pressure? We're hearing?
That's what we're hearing, that he's going to have to come back in.
That would be a way to get that thing tightened up a little bit, take a little bit of air maybe out of that right rear tire, and perhaps that's what they were trying to do.
You know, there's a right front air pressure minimum, so I don't know if it's a situation that you can hear the official right there saying they cannot change the pressure, and the other official was nodding his head yes.
Okay, but just clarify this. We talk about air pressure adjustments all the time. Is it that they can make the adjustments prior to bringing the tire over the wall?
On the tires that they put on the truck.
But the ones that are on the right front have to meet a certain amount of pressure, Rick. Therefore you can't be adjusting them once they're on the truck, because you could go below that without the official being able to see what you're doing. But it looked like they were working on the right rear.
We see again the 33 of Ron Hornaday back on pit road. He has been told to come back to pit road because of making that air pressure adjustment.
Was there a valve stem cap left off, possibly?
That could have possibly been it. These trucks are required to have a valve stem cap on each wheel.
What are you trying to do, Doug? Tell us.
We're hearing that they can adjust the pressure on the cold side of pit road, which is towards pit wall, but not on the hot side, out on the right side of the truck.
We'll be back for the restart for the VFW 200 from Michigan. Welcome back to the VFW 200 from Michigan International Speedway. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. And that fuel strategy might come into play. We just had some pit stops. Now, Phil, Ron Hornaday came onto pit road. We talked about a violation there, Phil.
Yeah, he actually came down pit road. We talked about the fact that you cannot put air in any tires on pit road. The cold side of pit road is behind pit wall. Certainly you can do air pressure adjustments as long as you don't go below the minimum right front air pressure. But let's go down to Ray Dunlap with more on this story.
Well, Phil, what they normally do is change air pressure on the tires that they're about to put on the truck, but they didn't change tires on this pit stop, so Doug George was trying to make an air pressure adjustment in the right rear. Part of the reason that some of these teams are sitting on tires is the fact that this weekend the rookies actually have an extra set of tires. So a driver like Austin Dillon has one more set of stickers down here than Hornaday will have. That's because our final practice got rained out. So some of these crew chiefs trying to think through the idea of when they'll use their tires and can they make adjustments. But the answer from NASCAR was no, you cannot make an air pressure adjustment while the truck is sitting on pit road.
Take another look at what happened so we can clarify this. Gentleman coming down here working on the right rear.
Putting gas in.
Yeah, he's
just trying to get a little bit of air out of that right rear tire. The official saying, I don't think that was exactly right.
He was obviously very little because he wasn't there very long. But let's also clarify that Austin Dillon does in fact have probably more tires that he's able to use. Each team was allowed 4 sets of tires for this weekend. The rookies got a 5th set of tires. But they have to turn in that 5th set of tires. They physically don't have any more tires, but the fact that they were able to do all that practicing on that practice set that they had to give back to NASCAR, they actually have 4 usable sets, where most of the teams would only have 3 usable sets because they did most of their practice on that one practice set.
So they're cleaning up the racetrack. Again, the reason for our second caution was the 46 of Chase Austin having an engine expire on lap number 12. We had pit stops. We had problems on pit road. And those violations have been taken care of. We're going back racing when we come back to Michigan. Next Saturday, the Rolex Sports Car Series slams into Mid-Ohio, where the GT points battle is as close as it gets. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series live from Mid-Ohio next Saturday at 5 Eastern, only on Speed. It is a warm afternoon in Brooklyn, Michigan. Again, we have overcast skies and frequent sun peeking through on occasion. So you see a lot of fans enjoying the day of racing. And we hope that you're enjoying it there at home watching with us as well. Out in front of this field, it is now Ryan Sieg who is bringing the field to the green flag. And yes, Ryan Sieg was one of the drivers that was starting back toward the rear of this race at the beginning. He started 25th, but has been able to get out in front of the field. And another driver that we saw earlier, the 84 of Chris Fontaine, was involved in our first incident coming out of turn number 2, slid up the racetrack and got caught up and then slid down and brought out our first caution.
There's a little bit of muscle in that second row, though, with the 18 of Kyle Busch and the 3 of Austin Dillon.
And they're going to romp on these. They're going to hop on these two as soon as that green flag flies. But listen, Ryan Sieg finished 9th at Dover earlier this year, so he's certainly formidable. He can run in the top 10, but Kyle Busch anticipated that start perfectly, grabbed the lead from Sieg.
How about Elliott Sadler now going to look to the bottom of Sieg in the second position, and Austin Dillon is going to go around the outside.
The lowest we've seen Elliott Sadler run on the racetrack today. He was all the way down to the yellow line. He takes 3rd. And looking on the outside, looks like the 17 of Timothy Peters making the charge now.
How about that view that Toyota onboard of Tom Bodine had for a moment?
Timothy Peters started in the 12th position. He's been strong. He's up to 3rd. The furthest back anybody's won this race is from the 12th position. Oh, is there room for Elliott Sadler?
How about Todd Bodine creeping up the racetrack into Jay White? Now we see James Busher in the 31 trying to make the move on Elliott Sadler to the bottom of the racetrack.
I don't think there was room for Elliott Sadler.
He's right now he pulled in the inside to let Elliott know that he didn't think there was room either.
But what a great run early in the going for Timothy Peters.
How about the two out front once again? Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon. We've seen Dillon run well. He won the pole for this race. Kyle Busch, it only took him 3 laps to get up front.
Look at the draft pull that forward of Jason White up to those other 2 trucks.
And look at Todd Bodine. He said, I don't like the way either one of you two are
Elliott going way wide.
Elliott almost into the wall.
I'm not sure he didn't get into the wall.
He might be in the wall right now as he's coming out of turn number 4. Let's see if there's any damage right up against the wall.
Something's wrong with it. Does he have a right front tire down? Looks like the splitter looks
think he
pretty
hit the
level
wall
there.
I think something's wrong with it. He didn't hit the wall.
About 85 for him, clear low right there.
Yeah, he's definitely scored on the racetrack. So problems for Elliott Sadler.
He thinks it's a right here. Thinks he's got a right front flat.
Battle for the lead. Austin Dillon goes to the inside of Kyle Busch.
Austin Dillon. Kyle Busch on the outside. So Dillon takes over the top spot once again. Austin Dillon has yet to lead a lap at Michigan, even though he had the pole.
How about the maturation of this young kid, this Austin Dillon?
Wow.
From lap 1 at Daytona having a problem to the pole last week and the 3rd place finish for his best career finish and passing Kyle Busch for the lead here at Michigan.
Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch 1 and 2 as they go into turn 1.
And he may drive away.
He's starting to pull away, but as you mentioned earlier, this can end up being a drafting track. So Kyle Busch could get a little pull from Austin Dillon and be able to stay on his back bumper.
Look at the way that truck sets on that straightaway, right down against the road. Even though it hits bumps, Rick, it stays right in place. The splitter dragging the ground, just a really good looking truck as it goes down the straightaway, and obviously a fast truck. You know, he sat on 2 poles in a row. There's only been 4 guys that have won their first 2 poles in consecutive races, and Mike Skinner, Mike Bliss, and Brendan Gaughan are the other 3. You know what Skinner went on to do in that very 3 truck? He won his first 8 consecutive poles.
Elliott Sadler on pit road. What happened, Ray? Ray, what'd they do with the 2?
Well, Ricky had a right front tire flat. It came in, and Butch Hilton decided, let's go ahead and put 4 tires on it. They're going to more than likely be down 2 laps here after taking that amount of time to slow down, get in here, get your pit stop. But 4 tires on it, and all they can do is hope we go in a long green flag cycle and maybe get a lucky dog.
So the wave around is really going to help too. You know, that would, if you're 2 laps down, you would just about be in jail in years past. But with the new double foul restart rules and the wave around, not anymore. We saw Eric Almirola go from 2 laps down to Dover to get his first career win.
Only 3 trucks off the racetrack. Mike Harmon, Chase Austin, and J.C. Stout are out of the race. We've got 2 trucks that are a lap down, Elliott Sadler being one of those, Chris Jones the other.
What about Jason White in that Ford? He's up in the 6th spot, or excuse me, top 5 for Jason. Didn't qualify that well, but has driven to the front.
I was talking to Jason after qualifying. He said, hey, I ran wide open, didn't run all that fast. He said, but it was really good in practice, so hopefully I'll be able to hold that thing down and run with him in the race, and he's running with some really good trucks right now.
Well, we heard Mike Skinner say he qualified back in the 19th place. We interviewed him before the race, and he said, wide open's wide open. That's all we got right now. Sad to report. But Jason has told us that before. He said, I run wide open in Daytona, I'm first. I go to California, I come to Michigan, run wide open, I'm not even in the top 20 or just inside of it.
I've mentioned this a lot. Back in 2003, I was talking to Shane Wilson, Brendan Gaughan's crew chief. I said, what are your chances? He said, I think we have too much downforce on this truck. I don't think we can compete with him. And he won by 11 seconds. So I don't think downforce is going to hurt you in the race as we see Matt Crafton move to the outside of Jason White.
Big run for the 88 Menard Chevrolet of Matt Crafton, and he's got the 51 of Eric Almirola in tow now. We saw Almirola duck into the low side of the racetrack earlier, trying to make up some positions. Now it looks like he's going to try the momentum side. The 2 of Elliott Sadler back on the racetrack.
And he is only 1 lap down right now.
There's
That's
the
all
cut
it takes right there.
in the tire. You see the circle around it.
You see this little hole right here? That was how thick that tire is. It's only about 4/32 of an inch. Is as thick as that tire is when it's brand new.
And the reason why Goodyear just has a little bit of rubber on these tires is they want them to go about a fuel run, a little bit further than a fuel run. And the more rubber you have on the tire itself, the more heat it builds and the more apt it is to blister or the tire go away from a failure like that. So these tires are scienced out, and I don't think we've ever had better tires in NASCAR than we have now in 2010. Everywhere we go, everyone raves about the tires.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, just to add to that, guys, NASCAR has made a decision to give the number 2 truck a set of right side tires to replace those. So in addition to the stickers they have sitting here in the pits, they'll get an additional 2 tires for the right side. Krista?
I mentioned at the start of the race about Jason White. He started 16th all the way up into the top 5, as the booth mentioned. He's been tight in traffic, but good alone. On the last stop, they put wedge in the right rear to keep the left front nose down on the track, and it is working.
So again, Jay White running in the 7th position, just in front of Eric Almirola. We ride along with Jason White. In front of the field, though, it's the young one, Austin Dillon, in front of Kyle Busch, Todd Bodine, our most recent winner in the Camping World Truck Series from a week ago at Texas, Timothy Peters in the 4th spot, and Matt Crafton rounding out our top 5. Austin Dillon started from the pole but wasn't able to lead the first lap. That was Ron Hornaday that jumped out to the early lead. Austin Dillon has worked his way up front, and now Dillon being scored with 7 laps led already from Michigan International Speedway. 2, 3, 4 wide from this 2-mile racetrack. Stay with us. Hey race fans, Sunoco's Free Fuel 5000 is back. Just get your Sunoco decal, put it on your car, get spotted, and win. We've got spotters visiting every participating Sunoco, and if we see you with it while you're there filling up, you'll win one of thousands of instant prizes and a shot at the grand prize, 5,000 gallons of Sunoco fuel. For more information, go to GoSunoco.com.
Could they put it on their truck too?
I would say they could.
Okay, I think we just heard an in-truck radio. Somebody said it was raining. Did y'all hear that?
Sounded like Jennifer Jo Cobb to me.
And we're hearing that some of our camera operators up on the roof of this facility. And there you have it.
Raining hard on the backstretch.
Krista.
Yeah, I can update you guys on the weather, at least down here at Pit Inn, down towards Turn 4. A few sprinkles, some of the teams covering up some things here on pit road, but it's really not bad. And it actually, as soon as it started, it's almost like it ends. So the track is actually fine.
This is a 2-mile racetrack, though, so, you know, halfway across to the entrance of Turn 3, pretty close to a mile away from Krista. And obviously, NASCAR and the drivers are reporting some moisture, pretty heavy moisture over there, and thought it'd be time to throw the caution flag.
Yeah, Wayne Otten, our series director, is in our next booth, and he just motioned over here that, in fact, that was for rain.
So that precipitation that I mentioned wasn't going to happen today is happening.
Yeah. Moved. You had that right. Did they come over here for one of those Great Lakes?
One of the Great Lakes, one of the 5.
Moved in off the
way.
way.
I'm trying to help you with your geographical lessons. Pits are closed. Again, a little bit of rain here in the area.
Hey, Rick, before we go to break, I want to say condolences to the family of Les Richter, Marilyn, his wife. That whole family. Les passed away today. He's instrumental in NASCAR being on the West Coast. He was the president of the Riverside Raceway. He also brought IROC to NASCAR, that whole world to NASCAR. He worked at the worked with the California Speedway too. He was a vice president at NASCAR as well. Just a great figure in the garage area for racing and for NASCAR, and a heck of a football player.
Yeah, all-pro football player, what, 8 times and a Hall of Famer. And, you know, Les Richter actually was the vice president of competition, and Mike Kelton succeeded him in that role when Les went out to help with the California Speedway to get it off the ground. But, you know how Dale Inman has always picked on people in the garage area.
Yeah.
Dale Inman was so strong, and I know he did you. He picked on me. Well, Les Richter used to pick on Dale Inman.
Yeah.
So that's how strong he was, because Dale Inman was the strongest guy in the garage area, and Les Richter would play with him like he was a little kid.
I think back in the 1950s, they traded a whole football team for Les Richter.
11 players.
11 players
they
for Les Richter.
For one. Les Richter. That's how important he was. He was actually called the coach in the garage.
And an incredibly nice man.
Yeah, it's just someone, when you saw him coming, you put a smile on your face. And he loved NASCAR racing, and he was such a huge friend to this sport, and he's certainly going to be missed by everyone in this community.
So again, a former NASCAR official, Les Richter, passes away at the age of 79. Again, we're under our 3rd caution of the day from Michigan International Speedway. This one for weather. There was some rain spitting in the backstretch, and so some of the drivers made mention of it. That's why we're under caution right now. Again, pit road was closed, so they're not allowing the trucks to make their way onto pit road as of yet. We'll wait to see if they open up pit road, and it looks as though pit road now is open. So the field making their way back onto pit road. We go to Chris Devoto.
Well, it shows you what I know, Rick. I said the track looked great, but the precipitation has ended down here in pit in. Timothy Peters has a great race truck. The only thing he's complaining about, a drivetrain vibration. He said he needs a forward bite, so you'll see adjustment and 4 tires for the 17.
Krista, in the middle of the screen, you see the 18 of Kyle Busch. They're pitted right in about the middle of pit road. The crew will go to work on that Toyota Tundra. For him, he's going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right front. Top of the screen, you see that Bass Pro Shops number 3, Austin Dillon, saying his truck went from a real tight condition to very loose. So Danny Stockman said, let's go back to the air pressure we had. Dillon will be the first off pit road. David Starr actually beats him there, and the 18 is next.
The great thing about having the first pit stall is you have to go 15 feet. I walked it off earlier today. 15 from the front of your pit box to the line that they look to set everyone up when we restart. So a good pit selection for that team. And welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. We see the field making their way around the 2-mile oval. The Duplicolor Bed Armor What's in Your Bed promotion has launched and continues until August 31st of this year. Entry is open to legal residents of the United States and who are 18 years of age or older. Entry requires submission of an image and description of your truck in use in one of 3 categories. Limit 1 entry per person, household, or street address per category. Odds of winning depend on the number of entries on the website. To enter and for official rules, visit www.bedarmor.com or void where prohibited. Let's go back trackside to the number 3 pit stall, right?
Well, Rick, whenever we were calling the pit out there after the round of pit stops, I wasn't quite sure if Austin Dillon was the first to get out or not. Here was the situation. As he was making his pit stop here, the guys came in, they were doing the work on that, and as they dropped the jack on the number 3 and he started to roll away, Austin Dillon, I thought, maybe had a problem. But what Danny Stockman, his crew chief, told me was that he had just missed second gear just a tiny little bit. But the important part to remember is that white line right there is all they've got to race to. So the 3 did beat the 81 off the end of pit road.
And if he missed the gear, or if he did it on purpose, Phil, he wanted to gas that thing up all he could to get to that white line and then coast from there to the speed line, therefore not making too fast in that segment. So he did perfect. He got across that line in a hurry.
Guys, it's starting to pick up rain a little bit here, a little harder than what we thought earlier.
We're hearing that rain is coming down here in our position on the roof.
We thought it was just on the back straightaway there at first, but it's moved over to the front side here. You can see the fans there.
Not too many of them are taking cover.
They're taking it really well so far.
NASCAR is going to bring the field onto pit road. Again, the rain has picked up just a bit as we've completed 37 laps. This will be 38 when they hit the line on pit road.
You know, Stacy Compton's going to lead this race for a long time. Because he's leading now. He did not come down pit road as well as our buddy Hermie Sadler in the 48 car. He right now runs second in front of Austin Dillon, who was the first truck off of pit road. So Stacy's got a pretty good length of time in the lead here probably.
Who's going to get our Aaron's lucky dog?
I believe it's going to be Norm Benning in the 57 truck. What do you think of that?
Norm had a good run at Texas last week. I think he got a top 20 finish, didn't he?
He finished 17th.
Yeah.
Best finish of the year for Norm.
Certainly.
There you see the moisture on one of our camera lenses, and you can see it on the back of that's looking back from the top of some of these trucks.
That might be Jennifer Jo Cobb's roof camera right there. There's Johnny Sauter.
Jennifer Jo on her birthday running along in the top 20, so good start for her.
So they're gonna put the covers on these trucks as the rain continues from Brooklyn, Michigan. We didn't think the storms were going to be coming through, but some isolated showers are taking place right here at the racetrack. So they're covering up some of the pit stalls. They're getting covers for the trucks. And while they do that, we're going to slip away for a quick break. You're watching the VFW 200 right here on Speed from Michigan International Speedway. Stay with us. Hopefully just a short rain delay. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and it's better than ever. Camping World is offering more prizes and more chances to win. Log on to campingworld.com and enter today. By the AARP Auto and Home Insurance Program from the Hartford. And by Just for Men Hair Color. Live forward.
That stuff works.
You speak from experience. Well, it is raining, and that means it's time to, or gives us time to take a closer look into the camping experience with Camping World's Destination Recreation.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
In 2010, Coleman has a whole brand new lineup of fifth-wheel campers and pull-behind travel trailers. Now let's face it, if you're an entry level to RVing, you may not want to spend the money for a Class A motorhome or a diesel pusher. So a pull-behind camper can be a really good way to start, and I'm telling you, this one has a lot of really nice amenities. Now models available for this size travel trailer can run you right around $14,000, and if you go with the ultralight, it steps it up to about $18,000, and with a fifth wheel trailer you can spend somewhere up to around $25,000, $27,000. But what's great about all the Coleman line is you know that it's a guaranteed name, and they're going to build you an RV that you can trust and keep for a long, long time. And the best part about a Coleman travel trailer is there's one of them available for a lucky fan to win if you enter the Destination Recreation Sweepstakes.
The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. More prizes and more chances to win. To enter, see the complete prize descriptions and the official rules. Visit campingworld.com/racing.
You can see a little bit of anything down in that infield, can't you guys? Some very interesting RVs. Camping World obviously understands what they're doing with their sponsorship dollars, because we got about a 2-mile racetrack that's full of campers down there.
And the thing I love is that they're back outside now, because I think the rain has stopped because the sun's coming back out.
The sun's coming back out. Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Well, it is hot and sunny down here. The humidity has gone up, the temperature has gone up, and the racing pace has gone up for that 3 truck. How good has that thing been today?
It's really good. They made a great adjustment after the first stop, and you know, I wish the rain wouldn't have came out or waited a little bit longer, at least to 50. And we got a good truck. I got something in my eye after they put the speedy dry down, so I got to go work on that right now.
Okay, we're going to let him go work on that, because they've been trying to wash out his right eye here a little bit, and he said he really needs to get a mirror so they can try to see what that little bit of speck of dust is.
So Austin Dillon will take care of that. And we always talk about when it rains, did we lose the track? Well, it didn't rain very hard here, and we haven't seen the jet dryers actually get back out onto the track yet. Normally we would see those first, and then we'll see some service vehicles making their way around the racetrack.
You can see beyond the scoreboard off the back straightaway. It looks dark over there. I hope that stays more up toward those Great Lakes you spoke of, Rick.
One of any of them. I mean, really any of them.
Lake Michigan was the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. Just pick one and go to it.
Yeah.
There's 5.
Just stay away from here.
Let's go down to Krista.
Guys, it doesn't even have to be a great lake. It could just be a good lake, as long as it stays away. Timothy Peters, you have a great race truck. What happened, though, on that last stop?
My tach quit working. I come in expecting to see 4,500, and my lights didn't light up on the dash, and I just lost a light on pit road. It went out. In second gear, it's showing that I'm running 7,000 miles an hour. I mean, 7,000 RPM. So, but all in all, we'll overcome this. Our Crescent Tools Toyota Tundra is pretty good. A little loose from the center off too, but really good through 3 and 4. So Jeff Hensley and all the guys are going to get me fixed up. But hey, this is a year that I've been with Red Horse. I'd like to thank Tom DeLoach for giving me an awesome opportunity and taking a chance on an old Virginia country boy.
See, and I didn't even tell you that was going to be my next question. What a year it has been for you. Can you even walk through how much your life has changed from 1 year ago, this time last year?
I just thank the good Lord for blessing me. And for people like Tom that took a chance on me and give me the opportunity with great equipment and give me what I need to run up front. It's just been a great deal for me to get behind the 17 truck each and every week and take it to the front like we do.
All right, thanks, Timothy.
So again, the drivers are out of their trucks. We are under a red flag condition for weather. The yellow flag came out.
How many of the Great Lakes are those there?
Those are really good lakes. I think those are Lake Brooklyn. There's a little bit of moisture in the area and a few lakes. We're under a rain delay at the VFW 200 from Michigan International Speedway. Be the biggest racing fan you can be with Verizon Championship Racing at the track and on your phone. From nationwide and IndyCar driver meet and greets to exclusive peeks inside the Penske garage right on your VCast phone. We are your hard card to racing nirvana. Only from the network with the most 3G coverage. Verizon.
Good sign. Jet dryers, Service Master clean jet dryers out on the racetrack.
And sun.
You know, yesterday this track dried a lot quicker than people thought. We had a pretty big rainstorm before Cup qualifying, and the NASCAR folks, along with the Service Master trucks, coordinated drying process that took less than 2 hours. So, and the track was a lot wetter, I would say,
I
yesterday.
think so too. There's still some dry spots on the racetrack now.
Let's go trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, we want to talk with Ron Hornaday. Today is the farewell to Longhorn, so I know you want to get a big win today, but you're going to have to make a little overcome a bit of a penalty there earlier today, Ron.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I'll talk to Doug here in a bit, but no, I think we made some good adjustments on the Longhorn Moist Snuff Chevrolet, and I got to thank them for everything they've done for us for KHI. I mean, they've definitely been a big part of our racing program the last couple of years, so I really hate to see them go, but we definitely want to get a win for them, and we're doing everything we can. So probably the best truck I've had here. I'm a little free right now, so maybe the track's going to change a little bit and make this Longhorn Chevrolet run good.
You know what, Ron, we talk about drafting here. I'm just wondering, whenever you're coming from the back up through the pack, do you use that as a tool?
Oh, definitely. You can see the RPM come up quite a bit. So, yeah, you try to follow the line, and you can see the guys leading, you know, weaving back and forth, try to break the draft. So if you can try to find it, you'll hear the RPM go up a lot. So we're trying to work that out. But, you know, it's so tough. You know, we went to the back there. Them guys are 2, 3 wide, maybe 4 wide sometimes, and it's such dirty air back there. So I see why them guys have a fun time racing back there, because it's a handful. The truck's floating, getting in, and you're four-wheel drifting. And once I got by them, we're running about the same speed, about second, third place truck. So we'll make some adjustments, see if we can get up there.
Okay, he's moved his way up to 9th currently, Krista.
Well, Ray, someone else who's been moving up through this race is Jason White. Now, Jason, we talked at the start of the race that this is going to be a good one for you because you're back in a Ford. Tell us about the difference in the field.
Yeah, you know, we wanted to try a couple things a little different here this week. We ran the Ford. We didn't qualify as good as we like, but this thing's really been fast. Got all the way up to 5th from 16th. Just came in, had a bad pit stop, so hopefully we can work our way back up there. But we got a great truck, and the sun's coming back out, so we better get ready to go back racing here.
Well, this week, too, Gunbroker is teamed up with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. I know you're a big basketball player. Are you a big outdoorsman as well?
Oh, yeah. I love doing hunts and stuff like that. We got a bunch scheduled this winter, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So anytime we get to do anything like that's pretty cool.
All right. Well, today, Jason White is hunting for that first win.
Jason loves to race these trucks. He's exactly what a truck racer is all about. Just loads up and heads off to the races with his eyes wide open and hoping to grab that first win.
You know, I was talking to Jason right after qualifying, and he was talking about the fact that he felt like he should have run faster than that, but smiling the whole time.
Exactly.
Nelson Piquet Jr. sitting, chatting. That is his crew chief, Kevin Starlin. We heard Austin Dillon talking about had something in his eye, so he's going to go get that checked out while we're in this hopefully short break. A little precipitation in the area. The sun's out now for the VFW 200. Looking for a stock car fantasy game? Log on to speedfantasyracing.com and register now for the new summer series. You can create your own group or play overall to win prizes. The grand cash prize has doubled for the summer to $3,000. Take a look at the standings for our different speed teams. And oh, by the way, Speed Camping World trucks are leading the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, goodness gracious, Rick, would you expect any different?
Well, I wouldn't. How many times have you guys picked, by the way?
Several.
Hey,
that's unbelievable.
Otherwise, we may not be leading if it hadn't been for Mikey and I picking.
Okay.
Phil and I are all in.
Yep, that's right. You guys are all in. All in. Well, the drying is going well. We're seeing the jet dryers make their way around this 2-mile racetrack, and they're putting a huge dent in the drying process, so things are going well for them.
We had a hole last week from the drying process.
Yeah,
at Pocono, coming off of pit road.
I wonder if Ray has any numbers on the jet dryers like he does
chassis numbers. You think they have dryer numbers?
Are there numbers on those dryers, Ray?
Well, they're not specifically numbered, but I can tell you there are 10 of them at the racetrack this weekend from Service Master. And they estimate that if they're going to have to dry the track after a very, very significant rainfall, it takes them about 100 minutes to 120 minutes to do it. But I have to tell you guys, looking down the front stretch here, we've just had 4 of them roll by, and man, the front of this racetrack looks really, really good. So I'd say we're not too terribly long before they could get the trucks back out there and get them rolling.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, all the area that they have made it around, it looks a dry gray. Other than the darker gray that we saw earlier when it was a little bit more, I guess, wet on the racetrack. So
here in Michigan, we call that a clearing off shower.
That was clearing off shower. How about a cooling off shower is what we called it back in Nebraska.
I don't know that it cooled it off much. The Big Ten. I don't know if it cooled off much, but cleared off.
Another truck that's running in the top 15, our friend Donnie Leah. He's down there with Krista.
No truck has passed more trucks on the track than Donnie Leah, because you had to go all the way to the back for an unapproved adjustment, then come back up to as high as 11th. So what's going on with you today?
You know, we're real excited here. We got a good truck today. I think we got a truck that probably get us a top 5. You know, we need a good solid finish, and though we had one at Charlotte there, but you know, had a little problem. But I'm just proud of these guys. We had a good solid pit stop. We've had a good weekend here so far. You know, didn't qualify quite like we wanted to, and then plus having to go to the back, but having a ton of fun. I got to thank Bobby Dotter, Ken Smith, and the owners of this team for I'm hearing myself. It's really, but for having me here, and you know, just trying to make the most of it, trying to get these guys a solid finish and something that we can build on here. That's all it's about, and I love this racetrack, though. It's wide, it's fast. You can go on the bottom, top, everything. And we've got a great truck here. I got to thank Jason Miller, my crew chief. Just going to try and be there at the end, get a good solid finish. Raced last week too, and won a modified race on the smallest track in NASCAR. Hopefully we can get a good solid finish on one of the biggest tracks.
Well, tell us about that. You actually jumped in the car for Wayne Anderson. He had a heart attack, I understand. You were able to jump in his car and win the feature.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. We started last, and you know, quarter-mile bull ring. You know, kind of like if anybody's seen the show Madhouse, is it there at Bowman Gray? But Wayne got sick, and you know, they needed some help, and I love driving modifieds. Really wasn't on the agenda, but to help them guys out was special, and it's just a fun day. You know, get back to the winner's circle feels pretty good too. So hopefully here in the Truck Series we get back there again. You know, it's been a while.
You mentioned hearing yourself. We can turn around and watch the end of this interview and see how you do, because we're on a little bit of a delay. You look good, Donnie. Oh, come on. That was perfect. Thanks, Donnie.
There's the birthday girl talking to David Starr.
Mike Skinner.
Jennifer Joe's currently in 19th. Solid start for her day. Skinner started in the 19th spot. He's raced up to the 8th position. And David Starr, through a little bit of strategy, he started well back as well. He's raced up to 4th. So differing strategies here in the early going. We saw Johnny Sauter on that first caution on lap 5 or 6, whenever that first caution was. He came to pit road and needed some serious adjustments to his truck. Didn't like it at all. And when you have a couple of pit stops before you need fuel, you can opt to just get some gas or even stay out maybe and try to improve your race, and those guys have done that.
And we know with only 38 laps completed that they will have to make at least 2 more pit stops. Certainly. So nobody is in their window to make this race on 1 more stop.
Track drying continues here at Michigan International Speedway, and actually they're making good progress, but it's going to take us a little bit of while, so we're going to give you some bonus coverage from Le Mans. It is taking place right now, and when the track is ready to go and we're ready to race, we will come right back here for that green flag.
And let me retract that. They can make it on 1 more stop.
Some of them.
They can run about 35 to 40 laps. We have 62 laps to go, so they should be able to make it on 1 more stop from this point.
Now remember, strategy, or maybe strategy, Stacy Compton stayed out, Hermie Sadler stayed out, Austin Dillon, he is the highest scored truck that came onto pit road, and he's currently in the 3rd position when we go back to green flag racing. Again, enjoy bonus coverage from Le Mans. We'll be back here to Michigan when the track is dry. Welcome back to Brooklyn, Michigan at Michigan International Speedway. The trucks are once again rolling on the racetrack. Again, on lap 34, the yellow flag came out for some precipitation on the back stretch. It actually rained for a little while. They put out the red flag. We've had just over a 40-minute red flag situation. The track now is dry. That was your leader when we went away and we're under red flag conditions. Stacy Compton, he came to pit road, so he'll make his way back out.
You know, that's what confused me a little bit before our break. I wondered why he stayed on the racetrack and what potential advantage that would be. Now he just has a couple, 3 more laps of fuel, or less laps of fuel than the other guys do, and now he has 0 track position.
Well, and a couple of guys were glad to see him come to pit road, including Donnie Neuenberger, and look right there, that's Elliott Sadler, made that unscheduled pit stop. They are now on the tail end of the lead lap. When they get 1 to go, they'll be given the wave around, go all the way around the track. So Elliott Sadler is right back into this race.
And that's brother Hermie right now leading the race. Now I don't know if Hermie's going to elect to come down pit road or not. He has not pitted on this caution flag. See, he started back in the 13th position, had a great qualifying effort. The shop TNA.com Chevrolet, you can get go online and get a 124 scale version of that truck autographed by Jeff Hardy.
I know why Hermie Sadler stayed out. For that reason right there.
That was
so
it?
You would just say everything that you did. If he comes to pit road right now, to make perfect sense to me, he wanted to get his shop TNA truck on TV, and he accomplished that.
Hermie Sadler scored as our leader after lap 39.
And he is coming down pit road.
As predicted, when Phil gave him all his props, he came to pit road. But Hermie led the race.
You think in the pits they were watching TV when I said that? So come on in now, Hermie. We're good.
We're set now, Hermie.
So
that is a beautiful truck, though, isn't it?
It really is.
That's going to put the field back into the hands of Austin Dillon, who won the race off of pit road, just nosing out the 81 of David Starr, who will restart 2nd. Kyle Busch is 3rd. Todd Bodine 4th. Eric Almirola is the 5th truck that will go across the start-finish line. Now take a look at the weather. 81 degrees, mostly cloudy, but right now the sun is beating down on this racetrack.
Blue skies straight over ahead. Looks like some weather still off to the west, off turn 3 area, but certainly clear right now. We'll be able to race for a while for sure.
Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, everybody's hoping that this racetrack makes a big swing and a change. It should loosen up with the heat right now. Air temperature very warm, and Danny Stockman is hoping that is the case, because on the last pit stop, they put the air pressure back the way they started so that his truck was just a little bit tight. Talking about Austin Dillon, he did go to the care center and get his right eye worked on to get that little speck of Speedy Dry pulled out. Krista?
Mike Skinner has his eye on his first Michigan win. Right now, a very good truck. He started back in 19th. We documented that that's not a typical qualifying run for Mike Skinner, but he's all the way up into the top 10, thanks in part to a great stop by his crew when they came down back before that brief red flag came out.
You know, these guys are going to be interested to see what these trucks do for a few laps here. Obviously, I don't think the rain was enough to change the track a great deal, but that sun shining down, that could make a difference in the way trucks handle. But I believe, Phil, Austin Dillon will show he had the best truck before the rain, and he's going to have the best truck afterwards.
A lot of the Toyota guys said, I hope it gets really hot and slick, because then that maybe aerodynamic and drag advantage that the Chevrolets have will go away.
David Starr is starting on the inside. Austin Dillon chose the outside. David Starr did some pit strategy to get toward the front. He's coming to the green.
Green flag back in the air. David Starr on the inside. Austin Dillon takes the green way to the bottom of the racetrack.
That's like Nelson Piquet Jr., isn't it? He didn't get going.
Did not get going. Looks like it. I don't know if he couldn't get it out of 2nd gear or missed a gear, but
he's up to speed now.
It appears as though he's getting up to speed now. Meanwhile, we're
two
at least
and
3
wide as they go through turn number 2 down the backstretch. It's a drag race once again. Austin Dillon on the outside. And here comes that 18 of Kyle Busch once again. Let's see who has the momentum going into turn 3.
Remember, all these drivers have fresh tires. They should be able to hold them down. We're riding with Todd Bodine. I didn't hear him back off. Did you, Michael?
No, and Austin Dillon has been able to hang on the outside of Kyle Busch. No, but at the last minute decided that Kyle maybe wasn't going to give him the track. Let off the gas and pulled in behind Kyle. What great racing we have. Look at these trucks.
Door to door for Eric Almirola and the 30 of Todd Bodine. Now Bodine surges forward. Now the 5 of Mike Skinner on the outside. And here comes Ron Hornaday in the 33 on the inside.
Yeah, Todd Bodine surged forward because of that push from that 5 of Mike Skinner.
What about Skinner? Raced up from his 19th starting spot. He's up to the 4th spot. Didn't feel like he had a fast truck, but he had a good handling truck, and that's paying off now, especially in the draft. If you can keep your foot on the floorboard in the turns and then use that draft down the straightaways, that's going to make up for quite a few of your problems in the speed range.
And the 15 at the start having problems for Nelson Piquet Jr. Krista, what was the issue?
Yeah, if you're watching, you probably wondered what happened. The only thing Nelson Piquet Jr. came on the radio and said is that the gear shift got stuck. He then added, I don't know what happened.
Gear shift got stuck. Here's a battle for the lead. On the outside, it's Kyle Busch, but Austin Dillon trying to take it away from him on the inside.
Tabodine is going to push that 18 truck of Kyle Busch. Let's see if he can get up close enough to him to make a difference as they get down to turn number 3.
Dillon on the bottom of the racetrack. A little wiggle there as he gets into 3. Kyle Busch also a little wiggle up on the high line.
Those trucks are dancing around a little bit. They may be running wide open or all but it, but it's work.
You've got to understand how hard this is, what these guys are doing. Kyle Busch sideways in the turn. Todd Bodine pushing his truck right up to the back end of Kyle Busch to try to use the draft to get around the 3 truck. It appears the 3 truck is faster on the straightaways, and those 2 Toyotas are working together to hold them off.
Todd Bodine now battling for the 2nd spot, trying to take it away from Austin Dillon as they go down the back stretch.
And that's not a bad place for Austin Dillon to be, is between, right around in the middle of Kyle Busch and Todd Bodine. So much experience there. He is learning so much this year. Had such a great run last week and trying to go back-to-back with good runs.
Here comes Bodine back on the outside, trying to get by that 3 of Austin Dillon to take away the 2nd position. Dillon all the way down to the apron as he crossed the stripe, not able to keep the momentum up, and he stays back in the 3rd spot.
He just was no match for that draft that Todd Bodine was getting off that 18 truck.
Nelson Piquet Jr. Again, he had a problem at the restart. Let's take another look at what happened.
He really bunches up the field. He's about the 6th row back on the inside. He takes off and then looks like he ran up on the back of the 31 of James Busher. And I don't know if he got it hung in gear or missed a gear or whatever, but people had to go every which way to get around him.
See here, he just tries to drive up on the back of Busher, and just maybe when he tried to go from 2nd to 3rd with that good start, the fact that Busher didn't go confused him and messed up his shift pattern. They might have gotten stuck between gears.
Timothy Peters got by the 88 of Matt Crafton. There's Mike Skinner just in front of Timothy Peters. Here's another battle for the lead. This time it's Todd Bodine trying to take the spot away from Kyle Busch.
Got Toyota versus Toyota here. The Germain Racing Toyota on the inside and the Toyota on the outside.
Kyle Busch Motorsports already has a victory in 2010 as an owner driver.
Well, Kyle Busch is making a milestone start here today. It's his 75th start. Won 18 races in those 75 starts, so certainly we understand how strong he is, but never has won here at Michigan. Now these trucks on the bottom are going to try to draft by Kyle Busch.
Now we see Austin Dillon working with the 30. We'll see if they can both clear the 18. Todd Bodine is well clear. Now Austin Dillon's going to slide up the racetrack, trying to get in front of the 18 of Kyle Busch. He'll take 2nd away. Ray.
Guys, when I listened to the one practice that we had yesterday, I heard Kyle say that just as he exited turn 2, he had to lift a little bit just to get the feel back in the steering wheel that he wanted. But Todd Bodine ran 14 or 15 laps in yesterday's practice, never coming off the throttle. So they've got that Germain Toyota dialed in to where Todd can keep the hammer down all the way through the center of the corner. I think Kyle's having to lift just a tiny bit, and that's the difference right now of why the 30 was able to get out front.
Listen to the throttle.
He's pedaling just ever so slightly.
And the 18 bobbles a bit, but he still gets to the inside of the 3 of Austin Dillon, trying to take 2nd away.
You see Todd Bodine moving around, trying to break that draft. We heard Ron Hornaday talk about that, moving around on the straightaways to try to not allow those trucks to draft off you.
Austin Dillon, we talked about it, Phil, before we had the rain delay. The track was cloudy and Austin Dillon was driving away. Now that the sun's shining on it, he isn't quite as good as Todd Bodine. I think, though, if he could ever get clear of one of these guys or both, he might still be able to drive away. But right now, Todd Bodine, with his foot on the floor, is making the best time.
You know, I was talking to Kyle Busch actually right after he got done qualifying. You see him get sideways a little bit off it too, and I was asking him, I said, what keeps you from running wide open longer? He said, I can do it 5, 6, 7 laps, no problem. He said, my truck actually gets a little bit loose. When it gets off the corner, it gets a little bit loose. and that's what keeps him from running that truck wide open. He said he'll back off a little bit in the center of the corner, let the truck settle down a little bit, kind of get pointed in the other direction, and then get back in the throttle.
Halfway. And that means that this race would be official, although we have had sunshine since the rain stopped here, so we don't expect, or we hope that we don't see any more precipitation. Here's a good battle for the 7th spot. Timothy Peters trying to take it away from Matt Crafton. Yes. 6th position. That's right. 6th and 7th running side by side.
Battle. Matt Crafton's been strong this entire race. You see Elliott Sadler making his way back towards the front. Remember, he got the wave around. Now he's running up in the top 10 with some really good trucks right now.
Johnny Sauter just in front of him in the 13. Mike Skinner down on the bottom of the racetrack in the 5. Riding along with Johnny Sauter.
Mike Skinner right down against the white line, and Elliott Sadler up against the outside wall.
2 completely different lines around this racetrack, and we have seen 4 wide already today.
You see Hornaday, he just got past Bomberola down in turn 3 and 4. He was beside Austin Dillon. It looked like the truck got loose, washed them both up the hill. Let's see if we can see what happened. See, Hornaday gets a little bit wiggly, little sideways, and
has to chase it up the hill a little bit, then finally just pulls in behind. But look at the run that Eric Almirola had when he came off the corner.
Had to avoid, went high, was able to get by that 33 of Hornaday. So Eric Almirola moves up into the 4th spot. Hornaday back in 5th.
That last lap, 7 positions in the top 10 all changed. That last lap, the only ones that didn't change were 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Ty Bodine, Kyle Busch, and Austin Dillon.
And the battle for the lead certainly tightened up quite a lot in that last lap. Kyle Busch drove right back up on the back of Ty Bodine. If Ty's truck goes a little bit loose after 10 or 12 laps, it's just going to get looser as time goes on, and maybe allow Kyle Busch to get up there and challenge him for that lead.
Riding along with the Toyota onboard on Ty Bodine's truck, looking back at the Toyota truck of Kyle Busch. Those 2 running 1 and 2. Todd Bodine, our most recent winner. Kyle Busch has also won this year. Here's a battle for 10th. Jason White in the gunbroker.com, number 23, just in front of the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Looks like the decision for Jason to bring that forward here to Michigan is a good one. He's been really strong all day long. Telling the crew, it sounded like maybe he said he was tied off. So he needs an adjustment on that Ford, but he's certainly running a good race. Currently shown in the 10th spot.
Was able to pass Mike Skinner on that last lap. Elliott Sadler now has made his way all the way up to the 8th position. Good side-by-side battle for a moment for the 4th position. Ron Hornaday gets Eric Almirola back.
Eric got him as a result of Hornaday getting loose on the inside of Austin Dillon. You see Austin just up ahead. So Hornaday's got a fast truck. It's amazing to me he's never finished better than 7th here at Michigan. How do you figure that?
That's the only racetrack that we race on, with the exception of Chicagoland, that we've only run once. He finished 11th there last year. That he's not got a better finish in 7th than here at Michigan.
Trying to improve on that today, and a great run now as he reels in the 3 of Austin Dillon. And you see our race leader, Todd Bodine, now going by some of the slower lap traffic. And in tow is Kyle Busch.
It almost looked like something happened to the Austin Dillon truck. Hornaday had such a draft on him down that front straightaway.
Bodine, Busch, Dillon, Hornaday, and Almirola, your top 5 in the VFW 200 from Michigan. Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. We've got Kyle Busch out in front of Todd Bodine. He has been able to make the pass, but Bodine not giving up. Battling back on the inside.
Kyle Busch went to the outside, grabbed the lead, and it looked like was going to drive away from Todd, but Todd found something when he went up to the top side and closed right back in on Kyle Busch. And look, lingering right off the tailgate of Todd Bodine is Austin Dillon. He's caught these 2.
You wouldn't think there was 43 laps to go in this race, would you?
This is fun, man. Look at these 3.
Austin
the battle
Dillon
for the lead.
Has reeled in the top 2. Hornaday's dropped back just a bit, but it's not been decided yet who wants to be out front. We've seen Todd Bodine come charging back hard. Kyle Busch is your man up front now.
Oh, they all want to be up front.
That's why they're doing all this.
And here we go. They're tightening up once again. Now Todd Bodine to the bottom of the racetrack. Austin Dillon stays behind the 18. Let's see if Todd Bodine utilizes that little push that he got.
Look at Kyle Busch sideways leading this race. Todd Bodine's looking at that thinking, if you just slip a little bit more, I'll have my lead back.
About 3 or 4 more degrees sideways, and I've got it.
One of the other things we've got to keep an eye on, lap 59, we're getting close to being inside that window. Of one more stop makes it all the way to the end.
Yeah, that's right. We're just outside of 40 laps to go, which is really the, somewhere around the average of most of the trucks, what they can do. They pitted back on lap number 35, so we know they can go at least 35 laps, so they can run to about lap 70, but that's going to be about it. Let's take a look at how Kyle got the lead while we were away in commercial. As you mentioned, Mike, he ran the high side, and look at the momentum he had. Todd realized that he had the momentum and pulled over to the inside and said, I know you got the momentum. I know you beat me through that corner. There it is.
Let's see what you're doing that maybe I can change my line, work my line differently, and get the lead back. And look, he's moved well up the racetrack from where he was. Not quite as high as Kyle runs, but way up from where he was. And his truck is very fast up there.
A little bit faster than Bush's.
A couple of Toyotas holding off a very potent pole-sitting Chevy there from Austin Dillon. Wonder if he's got both eyes working.
1, 2, and 3 cross the stripe. Under 0.4 of a second separating all 3 trucks that last time by. Now to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Todd Bodine. Austin Dillon was going to follow him to the bottom. And they're still not able to get by that 18 of Kyle Busch.
Those 3 trucks ran within 100th of a second of one another. We know that. They were bumper to bumper. They about had to. But they are the fastest trucks on the track by far.
Norm Benning was slow on the track. We saw a glimpse of that 57 down on the apron.
Sometimes you'll see a truck like Elliott Sadler, who got behind, being able to make some better time on making his way to the front. But Elliott doesn't even have anything for these 3. They are by far the fastest 3 trucks. It looks like these are the guys that will settle this race.
They've separated themselves from 4th, which is Ron Hornaday, by about 1.5 seconds. Hornaday back there 2 seconds back from race leader Kyle Busch.
The top 5 trucks, you mentioned how close they are. The top 5 trucks that time within 0.5 of a second.
Kyle Busch, Todd Bodine, and Austin Dillon, your top 3, right?
You know, Rick, at the top of the show, we were talking about our final thoughts, and I said, a number of guys have a chance to get their career best finish today. Well, check out the list right now and see how it's running. We've said Kyle Busch finished 2nd here 3 times. He's at the front. Todd Bodine would get a career best. Look at Ron Hornaday. He would move up there. So this is an interesting list. Obviously, Buescher and Almirola didn't have to work very hard to get up there to make an improvement, but everybody on that list in position to do just as I had predicted.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Almost completely sideways was Kyle Busch. Does that allow Todd Bodine to get up beside him? Todd Bodine making the move by. Here comes Austin Dillon. That momentum lost by Kyle Busch when he got sideways coming out of turn 2.
Okay, so does everybody at home, they are racing hard. These guys are on the edge of control.
Do we understand that?
Are we clear about that? There is still 30-some laps to go, and he's sideways trying to hold on to the lead.
And another pit stop.
Oh.
Todd Bodine now out in front. Kyle Busch running 2nd, Austin Dillon in 3rd.
Don't ever wonder why Kyle Busch runs at the front of the field. He just runs that hard every lap, and he's so talented he can get sideways and hang on to it. Sometimes he does it so well we don't even know he's bobbling around. That time, watch this.
Right side of your screen.
This is more than a bobble, right?
Yeah, this is completely sideways is what that is.
At 175 miles an hour. Can you believe that? 175 miles an hour.
And has to chase it a couple times to grab a hold of it. There's another view of it. And Todd Bodine being right behind him wasn't helping that situation. That was robbing air off that rear spoiler.
But let me...
This is what Todd Bodine saw.
Let me tell you about Todd Bodine right there, though. He's not surprised. You know, you follow along Kyle Busch. If he turns sideways in front of you, you just assume he's going to save it. And plus, it doesn't freak you out because he's been bobbling around. Todd knows he's right on the edge of control anyway. So he wasn't shocked.
And as a driver, you try to use that. You try to make it worse for him. You try to get up as close as you can to make sure that he gets loose.
Take that air off of the rear spoiler. Todd Bodine now in front of the field. Kyle Busch running 2nd. Austin Dillon a strong 3rd. Ron Hornaday trying to improve on his career best at this racetrack in 4th. And Eric Almirola rounding out our top 5. Monday night, you can get your NASCAR fix with NASCAR Race Up. Get the latest NASCAR news and information in here straight from the drivers and crew chiefs when they stop by the garage to hang out and talk racing. NASCAR Race Up presented by Hooters Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
NASCAR President Mike Helton will be on the hub Tuesday, so that'll be something you want to watch.
Okay, the sideways slide off turn 2 hasn't tempered Kyle Busch's spirit, and he's Todd Bodine back down and is trying to grab the lead away from him.
Well, Kyle Busch is closing the gap on the 30. The 33 of Ron Hornaday has taken the 3rd spot away from Austin Dillon. We see the hands for Todd Bodine here.
I love that view right there.
2 back to the 18, 20 back to the 33 behind him.
Look at Todd in there. Man, he's so focused on what he's doing.
Remember, coming off a big win, his 6th win at Texas Motor Speedway last weekend, trying to make it 2 in a row.
Trying to grab my handful of wheel here, see if he can keep from turning to the right. Looks like that truck's handling really well.
He's not doing a whole lot of jostling on that steering wheel.
Under green flag conditions, Elliott Sadler came onto pit road. Again, he was one of the trucks that did the wave around earlier, so he was probably running a little bit low on fuel.
Right along with Jennifer Jo Cobb as the leaders.
Ray, what's happening?
Well, just wanted to update Elliott. I had looked up at the scoring pylon, noticed the 2 truck had moved up to 7th place, but they did have to pit under green there. Very snug rolling through the center, so they raised the track bar on that one. 4 tires and fuel for Sadler. He should be able good to go.
Remember, Elliott made that unscheduled pit stop, and he'd used the waiver on as we watched David Starr getting 4 tires under green. So Elliott had to come in a little bit earlier than most of the other trucks.
And David Starr didn't get tires under the caution flag before he got a little gas and got some track position, and so he needed to come get those.
Right.
And the problem with Starr, guys, was he was very, very loose. They cleaned the grill off, too, as he complained water temperature was climbing on that number 81, but they made a number of adjustments to try to tighten that thing up. He said it was an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 for loose.
What do you think Kyle Busch was earlier when he was sideways?
Well, he was 11 at that time.
I'd like to say he was 10, but he didn't spin out, so let's give it a 9.5.
Well, he's probably going to tell his crew chief, Eric Phillips, said he was about a 5.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We saw Kevin Harvick at Atlanta that one day practice. Remember that? He looked like he's swatting bees inside the truck. Come off the corner and said, she's pretty good, y'all. And that's about what Kyle's saying. And you know, right now, Phil, the truck is better. Some of the air that is pinning that nose to the road, making those front tires stick so well, is now being blown over top of his truck by Todd Bodine. That'll tighten his truck up a little bit. It'll make it easier for him to manage that loose situation because he doesn't have all that air pushing the nose down.
So there's 1 and 2. Todd Bodine out front. Kyle Busch running second.
Since Kyle Busch went by Todd Bodine in that high line, Todd jumped up there and likes that high line. That Ron Hornaday truck, I tell you, that's been a fast truck now. He's made his way up into 30s, about a 2nd and 7/10 right now behind Todd Bodine. But he's driven away from Austin Dillon by about a 2nd.
So Dillon dropping off the pace just a bit into the 4th spot. Eric Almirola holding on to 5th. Matt Crafton is 6th. Timothy Peters, Johnny Sauter, Jason White, Donnie Leah, your top 10. There's Austin Dillon again running 4th. Dillon.
Check out the traffic the leaders are dealing with. There's Hermie Sadler. Hermie's riding along in the 18th position. He's going to go the lap down.
He was the last truck on the lead lap, so that will leave us 17 trucks now on the lead lap.
Last time by, Todd Bodine enjoyed about a 2/10 second of a lead over Kyle Busch. You know, during the course of this season, if you average out all the finishing differences, the margins of victory, it's only about a little over a second. That's how close all these races are decided. And one of those races was decided by 5 seconds because Hornaday and Johnny Sauter had a crash with 3 or 4 to go, and Sauter was able to save his truck and get to the checkered, and it took all of Hornaday's momentum away. But we battle this way every week in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Here comes the 7, Justin Lofton, going by the 5 of Mike Skinner.
It's a battle for the 11th spot.
12th, actually. Yeah. Lofton just grabbed.
Right in front of them, Stacy Compton. Remember, he was leading when we had the rain delay, came back in after everybody else, gave up all the track position. Now he's worked his way just outside the top 10.
And what about Nelson Piquet Jr.? He rides along behind these guys. We saw his problems on that restart, but yet has been able to run these guys down and be a part of this battle. These trucks are running all the way up toward the top 10 with Piquet in 14th. At the tail end of this group.
You see his serial. He was 21st back in lap number 43. He had dropped all the way back to 22nd after that problem on the restart.
Again, just continues to impress us, Phil, with the job he's able to do and learning how to race in NASCAR.
There's Donnie Leah right now. You know Donnie Leah, we talked to him during the rain delay and said he had an awfully good truck, maintaining a top 10 position right now.
Field spreading out now. There's for 10th and 11th.
Spreading out. That's 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. So you're right, Rick. They're a little bit away from the lead trucks, but they've got a heck of a battle going on for that 10th spot.
Great battle for position all the way around the racetrack. And we're getting close to green flag pit stops, I would guess. Let's go down trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, here's my question for you guys in the booth. Todd Bodine is scheduled to come on 75. They've told Kyle Busch come on lap 76, but would the 18 not be better off to follow the 30 to pit road so that they have a chance to battle for a position on pit road at the same time? I don't know if you want to be on the same lap or a different one. How would you guys call it?
Well, I think I would rather come a lap after if I was running second, because either that or try to beat him to pit road. You know, you don't want to be held up by Todd Bodine. What if Kyle Busch thinks Todd Bodine's not going to get to pit road as fast as I can? That might be his attitude. He might want to wait a lap, maximize his effort to get to pit road without any traffic in front of him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what he would lose on that one lap is going to be minimal compared to what he could lose having to follow Todd down pit road and maybe not run the absolute fastest he can go down pit road.
10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th all on your screen. You see the battle for 12th, and we see the 4 of Ricky Carmichael, James Buescher on pit road, and let's go to Krista.
James Buescher complaining that he just can't do anything in traffic, the same problem he had earlier in this race.
Seems like problems on pit road for James Buescher. Now we see the 30 going by. Ray?
Well, the situation was, as Todd Bodine came in, you may have seen Chris Fontaine was in front of him, and Todd said it had to slow him up a bit. Bodine will come in. They're doing 4 tires on that Germain Tundra. They've got right sides on Kyle Busch's truck already down here, rolling around to the left side of this Toyota. The 30 of Todd Bodine has come out of his pit stall, and a little bit of a hang-up on the left rear for the number 18. Bodine will be the first to get away. Kyle Busch will follow him off pit road.
Yeah, that may transfer to a lot by the time they get back to the racetrack.
And look how much those top teams beat Chris Fontaine. Chris beat those guys onto pit road, but yet some 5 or 6 seconds, the teams that are racing for wins were able to make a pit stop faster than some of the guys that are just trying to get a top 20. Ray, who's next?
Hornaday's coming in for the last race for Longhorn, and he is going to try to take a chassis adjustment here. They may even go with a spring rubber in the left rear. Doug George trying to make that decision because Hornaday's truck was so free coming off the corners. Right side tires go on that Chevrolet for Ron Hornaday. They roll around to the left side. Apparently no spring rubber. They called that off. Going to do it all with air pressure. And let's go back to Krista.
It was 4 tires for Timothy Peters. Things could have gotten hairy. His tack is broken. You heard him mention that during the rain delay. Johnny Sauter, meanwhile, took 2 tires on this stop.
It'll definitely hurt Timothy Peters with his tack being broke. He's got to be conservative. He's got to run way slower than 35, 40 miles an hour, whatever the speed limit is, because he can't risk taking a penalty here.
Ray Dunlap.
Open. There is Austin Dillon coming down in the number 3, and what his crew chief Danny Stockman told him to do was shut off the right rear bead blower. That'll help air pressure build up in that right rear on that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. The guys go to work there. You'll see right side tires going on. And as you said earlier, Phil, these guys have plenty of tires left over in the pits. They're not going to need. They'll get 4 of them on there, and Dillon will be back on his way. As he does that, this 18 and the 30 go rolling by on the racetrack. Krista?
Skinner just coming in. He had complained that he had lost the handling. They went back on an air pressure adjustment and gave him a tear off 4 tires for the 5.
Stacy Compton is still remain on the racetrack. Remember, he pitted right at the end of that caution period, so he has a few more laps of fuel that he can get by here. This is what Todd Bodine was complaining about with Chris Fontaine. See, Todd had to weave his way around Chris Fontaine. Meanwhile, watching his tachometer to make sure that he doesn't speed. Kyle Busch has decided he may try to go around Todd Bodine, and when Todd peels off to head towards his pit, he doesn't do that. And there's our leader right there, the Melling Engine Parts Safe Auto Chevrolet of Stacy Compton.
Cycling through green flag pit stop. Stacy Compton still on the racetrack. We're hearing that Austin Dillon is going to be penalized for removing equipment from his pit box. This is a replay of what took place on pit road.
Keep an eye on this gas can right here. Just did it even go across the line?
Just slid
the yellow line
partially across the yellow line.
The NASCAR official right there.
He was
barely slid across that line.
Yeah, from that angle, it didn't even look like it went out of his pit. Austin Dillon has remained on the racetrack. He comes off turn 4 past the start finish line. He's getting the black flag. See if we can get a different look at this gas can. Did it leave the pit box?
Remember, the yellow line is his pit line. Is his front pit line. Cannot take equipment with you beyond that.
Oh, man, it just went outside of it.
It's actually even laying on top of the line, the very back of the can.
He'll have to.
So tough break for Austin Dillon. He'll have to come back onto pit road.
That's a drive-through penalty. He has to come onto pit road, run the whole length of this very long pit road at MIS, and then off the other end.
Stacy Compton still on the racetrack, still your race leader. We have 11 on the lead lap as they have gone through the green flag pit stop cycle.
Stacy letting the guys know that he's going to be coming towards pit road.
You can see Austin Dillon have to be really careful. I'm sure he's frustrated right now. Really careful to make sure he doesn't speed on pit road. A rookie, sometimes one mistake will lead to another. Be important for him to keep that speed.
Krista.
Stacey Compton coming in. Also, Hermie Sadler planning to come in for 2 tires on this stop. You see Stacey Compton, as we said, one of the last ones that needed to come in because he had that extra fuel. You see the crew around on the right side for the number 60. Stacey Compton back in this truck for Narain Karthikeyan, who'd been running at Texas. And there you see just 2 tires, right sides only for Stacey Compton.
They did a stop and go for Austin Dillon. That's why he got into his pit stall, stopped, and had to take right back off again. Because of equipment leaving the pit box, and his gas can went out.
There he is, stopping right there. You know, most of the penalties nowadays result in a pass-through penalty, so.
Todd Bodine out in front of the field, though, with just 18 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch running second. He's 1.1 seconds behind. Hornaday is third, 7 seconds back.
Well, ever since they've left pit road for these green flag pit stops, Todd Bodine has been out running Kyle Busch.
The 88 has blown up, it looks like. We see smoke out of the back of Matt Crafton's truck.
Will that result in a caution flag? Yes,
and the caution comes out. That will bunch the field up. There are 17 on the lead lap. That will mean we'll grab Aaron's lucky dog. That'll put 18 on the lead lap when we restart, but the 88 of Matt Crafton will probably drop out.
Like we said earlier, he was leading the points after 8 races a year ago, down in 7th coming in here to Michigan, and certainly this will hurt that as well. So tough year for Matt Crafton so far. On the other hand, his teammate Johnny Sauter, he's having a great year. He's off to a great start.
And Austin Dillon was right in front of our leader, Todd Bodine. So he will remain on the lead lap, does not have to utilize Aaron's lucky dog and start at the back of the pack. He can start wherever he lines up.
Well, and he did a great job of making sure he got to pit road, like I said, and didn't make any mistakes. You got to get down to that pit road speed and maintain it all the way down pit road. So good job by the rookie.
Gloves just came off of Matt Crafton, and it looks as though they're going to push him behind the wall. So a very unfortunate end of the day for Matt Crafton, and a great day for, or at least a great lap for David Starr, because he gets the Aaron's lucky dog and
he's
gets a lap back.
Dog.
Look how friendly that dog is. He's just wanting to give something away.
That smile and David Starr's smile look a lot
very similar.
Very similar.
And Jason White has a big smile too.
We're just some happy people.
Not too happy Matt Crafton as he'll get pushed back into the garage, and his day is done. The VFW 200 continues on speed when we return. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all your service, maintenance, and collision repair needs. By Wall Trimmers, now with the power of lithium ion. Go to walltrimmers.com. And by Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. We had a few trucks make their way onto pit road for tires as we are getting close to the finish of this one. Ray Dunlap.
Well, just wanted to update Elliott Sadler on lap 85. He came to the pit road and got 4 fresh tires on that Grange Insurance Chevrolet. But get this, guys, he was running in 5th place on the racetrack. Also, the 3 of Austin Dillon came in. He gave up 14th in order to get those fresh 4 tires. So we'll see what kind of gamble that was. Should have about 13 laps to go when we roll back to green.
Thank you, Ray. Let's take a look at today's Just for Men hair color Live Forward. Skinner won from the pole in the inaugural race at Iowa Speedway, where we are next, which is next month.
What a great racetrack they have up there. That was one of the first racetracks that have been built since the safer barriers came in. They don't even have the concrete wall. They have just the safer barriers out there.
Speed's going to be all over it that weekend. There's an ARCA race, truck race.
Yep.
You said it, Phil. Just an amazingly competitive racetrack. It seems like every finish comes down to 2 or 3 wide guys battling for the win.
Just for men, hair color, live forward.
Hey, Rick, let's see if we can make some contact with our leader, Todd Bodine. Hey, Toddley, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got me?
I got you, Philzy.
It looked like, Todd, before that caution flag, after such a spirited battle you and Kyle have had, it looked like you were driving away a little bit. You guys were a little bit quicker on pit road. Then the caution flag comes out.
Yeah, my Germain team got it done again, as usual, off pit road. We got a great Tundra. It was a little tight that last run in the middle. This time it's a little tight on exit. I think right now me and Kyle are pretty much even. Just see what we can do here.
Trying to make it 2 in a row. Can you get her done?
Well, we can get her done. We didn't come to finish second, I can tell you that.
All right, we've got an onboard camera with you. How about waving at your fans there? All right, buddy. Finish it off.
They're coming to 1 to go.
Close it in. Just 12 laps to go when the green flag will fly, right?
You know, Rick, I was just looking back at some information. In 2005, this 30 team in Germain Racing won 3 in a row. They won at Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead. So they have done 3 in a row before. Today, I wasn't sure if they had won back-to-back, but after I looked at my notes, they've won 3 in a row.
You know, the thing about this Germain team and Todd Bodine is, what the heck? How did he get so fast all of a sudden? You know, when the season started, he said we struggled. He said, Mike, the Hillmans found something with these trucks. They drive better now, and I can go. Isn't it amazing? It's almost like somebody flipped a switch.
He said at Charlotte, they went to Charlotte, and they found something at Charlotte, and they carried that on after that. They were so good at Charlotte, they finished in the top 3 position. Then they go to Texas and win, and they've been good since they unloaded here. So they found something with their setup that they're going to continue, and they're not going to stray away from.
You should ask him what it was just then, Phil.
He wouldn't have told me.
Coming up after our race, we have F1 qualifying from Montreal, so make sure to stay with us here on Speed. The lights are off, the pace car field lining back up. Kyle Busch has never won at this racetrack. Neither has Todd Bodine. We don't have anyone who's won at this racetrack in the field today. But how about the seconds for Kyle Busch?
Yeah, and Todd Bodine is elected to take that outside lane for the start here, pinching Kyle Busch down. Kyle has been amazing all year long, I guess all career long, on restarts. So even though Todd was a little bit faster during that last green flag run, he's got his work cut out with him here with Todd Bodine down on the inside.
Field all in the hands of the 30 truck right now. Todd Bodine coming back to the green flag. Green goes back in the air. Side by side, almost contact. Again, the second place truck cannot beat the leader to the green or to the stripe. And here comes Hornaday.
But the third place truck can beat the leader to turn 1 if he wanted to.
And look who's going to pull out off turn 2. Todd Bodine, a strong run down through turn 1 and 2. He didn't like the way the way Kyle Busch restarted that race, but he didn't let that deter him from grabbing the lead.
Now,
3 wide for second.
Guys, I want to let you know, Kyle Busch is scored as the leader at the stripe, and again, you can't beat the leader to the stripe.
That's 0.02 of a second. If they black flag him for that, then there's something wrong with it.
Plus, he's running 4th right now, sideways, trying to get underneath Timothy Peters. Timothy up to the 3rd spot. Got a crash. Nelson Piquet Jr. off 4, sliding through the infield grass.
The Qualcomm number 15 slides into the grass. The caution comes out. Looked as though contact was made with the 15 and turned him around as they came out of 4.
Yeah, they were very heavy traffic right there that Nelson Piquet Jr. was in the middle of.
Man, he almost hit that softball, Phil. Sometimes when you're good, you get lucky. And in this case, he kind of slid through the infield grass, missed the end of that pit wall by inches, and he's going to get to finish this race. Continues to impress, even though he impressed me that way backwards.
Doesn't look like any damage.
Yeah, we heard Cowboy tell him just make sure you turn your radiator fan on because you probably have some grass up in those. See if we can take another look at it. He's on the inside. He makes contact with one of those white trucks and then just shoots him down to the inside. Watch this into pit road here. I mean, pit wall.
Close.
Wow.
That would have tore the whole front end of that truck off.
That would have absolutely taken the front end of that truck off.
Let's see if we can see again. He's down on the inside of.
Looks like Justin Lofton in the 7 truck. Justin does a nice job of straightening that truck out.
Heck of a job. And I know what Nelson Piquet Jr. is doing right there. He's got his neck turned to the right, looking at the end of that wall, thinking, oh, no, please don't hit that. Please don't hit that.
There's another view. You see him. He got a little bit loose and had to chase it up the hill a little bit.
Wow.
Boy, Justin does an amazing job.
Great job.
As well as James Busher in that black truck, number 31, to avoid him.
I can't believe he didn't hit that wall. That was amazing. Todd Bodine says, I don't need that. That was a...
Well, it was virtually a dead heat on the restart, by the way, with Kyle Busch and Todd Bodine when they crossed the stripe. So NASCAR didn't even look at that. But that little slide there will put them side by side once again for the next restart.
It's going to be Eric Almirola running in the second position. Krista.
Nelson Piquet, the team taking one round of wedge out. They needs his car freed up just a little bit. Cowboy Starlin, the experienced crew chief, telling him, just wait. We just want to make sure we get everything cleaned off. Take a look at it. 4 tires. Nelson Piquet came on the radio and said, I just need a little front grip. I'm a little tight. And then said, it wasn't that bad, right?
Hey, Krista, the truck that Kyle Busch is driving today, he used to win at Nashville. The truck that Eric Almirola is driving today, he used to win at Dover. The truck that Todd Bodine is driving today, he used to win at Texas. But here's the important information for Todd Bodine. Do you take the inside or the outside? They determined where Kyle Busch would line up. If he lines up on the outside, that would put Kyle right behind him. If he takes the inside, that puts Timothy Peters behind him. So I look for the 30 to go to the inside.
I look for the 30 to go to the outside. Keep that, make sure
Kyle Busch,
make sure whatever Kyle Busch does on the start, he can take advantage of that.
You talk about what Kyle Busch can do on the start. I think the Hillmans had the same question that I had. You can't beat the leader to the stripe. And again, Phil, you mentioned it was 2/100ths of a second. It was virtually a dead heat, and so NASCAR really didn't even look at it. If it would have been obvious where Kyle Busch beat him by a fender or half a truck, they would have said something, I'm sure. But we take another look at this.
But look at these two banging on each other. This is kind of crazy for a restart. Look at all the room Todd has up to the top. He decides he wants to squeeze Kyle Busch down, and they rub fenders right there.
Now, the other thing is the restart area. Todd Bodine is supposed to restart between the double red line on the outside wall and the single red line. And it looks like Todd Bodine didn't get going in that zone, and the other trucks got up behind him.
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you now. I wish they would change the wording on that rule. You cannot beat the leader to the start-finish line. That was obvious that the 18 beat the leader to the start-finish line. I don't think it should have resulted in a penalty. So I think we need to change the wording of that rule.
Well, I know we've got it lined up right here for an amazing finish. Todd Bodine has been the fastest truck, but the guy that gets the best starts next to maybe Ron Hornaday, who drove 3 wide into turn 1 on the last restart, is starting right behind him. That's Kyle Busch. Hornaday fell all the way back to the 5th spot. He's got some serious ground to make up if he wants to lead them going into turn 1 again this time.
He drove to the bottom, and he wasn't able to keep the momentum those guys on the high side did.
As we've passed the 4:30 mark here on the Eastern time zone, I know a lot of you are tuning in to see F1 qualifying for Montreal. That's coming up after this race is concluded. We've just got 8 laps of racing to go.
We love to watch F1 qualifying, practice, and racing, but I tell you, if you're an F1 fan tuning in for F1 qualifying, watch this for another 8 laps or so.
This is as good as it gets. You've got guys that have been up the front all day. Johnny Sauter in the 6th spot has got a new sponsor on the side of his truck, Easy Girl. He pitted on lap 10 because he couldn't drive his darn truck. He's driven it now all the way up to have a shot to win this race.
And you can't ever count out the 18 of Kyle Busch. Johnny Sauter, again, just behind Kyle Busch on the outside of row 3.
Hey, anything can happen. Believe me.
Anything
these
can
double
happen.
file restarts inside of 10 laps to go.
This is framed up to be as good as it gets in truck racing. MIS has resulted in the closest finish ever.
Electronic scoring. Electronic scoring.
I believe.
5/1000ths of a second. Eric Darnell and Johnny Benson. Let's see how we do on the restart. Green flag back in the air. Todd Bodine in front of the 51 of Eric Almirola. Here comes the 18 of Kyle Busch. Outside looking to take the lead. Little contact.
He got into the right rear quarter of Todd, but Todd straightened it out.
That's because Todd said, you're not going around the outside of me. I'm crowding you out.
3 and 4 wide. Here comes Hornaday in the 33 right behind that 18 of Kyle Busch.
Almirola almost cleared Todd Bodine down in the center of 1 and 2, but he couldn't do it. To the bottom comes Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch with the momentum, shoots to the bottom, tries to take the lead away. They're 3 wide into turn number 3.
Todd Bodine's going to have that momentum from the outside. They're still 3 wide.
3
wide behind them.
For the lead as they come out of turn number 4. Who will take the lead at the stripe? 3 wide, side by side. The 3 Three trucks separated by 1/10 of a second. How about those numbers?
Is this Daytona or Talladega?
I told you, Formula One fans, we do it a little different here in NASCAR. These guys are all over each other.
Eric Almirola in the 51 trying to take the point. The 30 of Todd Bodine on the outside, holding on.
Look at it, Elliott Sadler, that 2 truck on the inside.
With fresh tires.
Just put fresh tires on a couple laps ago.
Restarted back in the 13th spot, now scratching for a top 5 position.
Todd Bodine working the momentum on the outside, trying to get back by that 51 of Eric Almirola. Those two stay side by side. Almirola goes down low. He will be scored your leader at the stripe. Todd Bodine in second.
Almirola clears Todd Bodine and drives up to the top of the racetrack.
Without help.
Wide back behind him.
Look at Austin Dillon making his way back right behind Hornaday.
Austin Dillon throwing that truck back into the mix. He was scored 9th as he went by the stripe.
Where did Almirola come from? He passed those guys on his own on the bottom. We haven't seen that all day.
Remember, we talk about Kyle Busch finishing second here 3 times. It was in that 51 truck for Billy Blue.
Eric Almirola got his first win in the Camping World Truck Series earlier this year at Dover. He's looking for number 2 today, but he's got a couple hungry trucks behind him. They're side by side for second. Kyle Busch on the bottom, Todd Bodine on the high side.
You know, Todd Bodine said something, Phil, when you interviewed him there in this truck. He said, I got a little bit tight on that last run. That's not good for a sprint to the finish, and it looks like that's what's hurting him right now. Can he keep it wound up on the high side and get back to Almirola? Man, Eric's strong legs are going.
Hey, remember what caused the last caution? Nelson Piquet Jr. spinning off of 4th. Yeah. He's up to 8th.
He's in the top 10 already. Eric Almirola, Todd Bodine, the momentum with Todd Bodine this time. Let's see if he can get back by on the high side.
We're inside of 5 laps to go. We're coming down to 4 to go.
4 laps remaining from Michigan International Speedway. We were slowed by about a 40-minute rain delay in the middle of this one, but there is nothing slowing them down now. 4 laps of racing to go, 8 miles from Michigan.
Look at those runs they get. That draft is amazing here at MIS.
Donnie Leah got a great run.
Look at Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine stayed a little bit lower through the turn.
He's going to get to the outside of Almirola. I believe he'll go around try the outside of him again. He was up there that time.
Almirola out in front, Ray. What's he saying?
Well, he is saying he loves the way this truck rolls through the center. They made some adjustments on that last pit stop that lets him go to the low side and drift up like he just did right there. He likes that. But guys, remember, no chassis in the history of this series has ever won more than the one he's driving today. His chassis number 11 took Kyle Busch to all but 2 of his victories while driving for Billy Ballew.
Todd Bodine wants to get around the outside, but I'm telling you, I think Eric Almirola is running wide open, so it's hard to gain any momentum on him.
But look at that. Oh, he's gaining a little bit, but just not quite enough.
Under 3 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch back there in 3rd. Todd Bodine now running 2nd.
Remember, Todd Bodine is not afraid to mix it up when you get down towards the end of these things.
Look at Hornaday down on the inside of Timothy Peters for that 4th spot.
Let's take a look at the speeds at the line as they come out of turn number 4. Who's the fastest truck when they cross the stripe?
They're all the same.
Yeah, the front 2 are going to be the same.
Almirola, Todd Bodine, here comes Busch. He's the fastest truck. Will he have enough time inside of 2 laps to go?
He's certainly using that draft, Rick, pulling up on those 2 leaders. Todd Bodine just to the outside of Timothy.
I think he's going to get there. No, he didn't make it. He didn't get there.
Todd Bodine keep the momentum up on the high side, but can't get by. Here comes Kyle Busch, though, closing the gap between himself and Todd Bodine.
You know, Eric Almirola, when he won Dover, we had a bunch of guys running out of fuel. We had a couple trucks getting into the wall. Eric Almirola, if he gets this win, this is going to be big.
He is driving his way to this victory if he can do it. 1 lap remaining. 1 to go for Eric Almirola. He has a 4-truck lead over Todd Bodine as they go into turn number 1.
Look at the big draft Todd Bodine gets on Almirola going into turn 1. Swings to the outside. You know, we had 6 Chevys up front when they started this thing. We got 3 Toyotas racing for the win.
Eric Almirola trying not to give anyone an advantage of the aerodynamic hole in the air, and it's Eric Almirola leading coming into turn 3, but here comes Todd Bodine making the charge on the high side. Down to the bottom goes Kyle Busch in the 18. Coming out of turn number 4. Can Almirola hold him off?
There you go.
Eric Almirola will win at Michigan.
Great job, buddy. Great job. Woo!
Great recovery by Austin Dillon up to the 5th place.
It's the goal tooth, Tim.
Eric Almirola grabs his 2nd career win in just his 58th start. Earlier this year, as we mentioned, at Dover, he got his 1st win. And now number 2 comes at Michigan International Speedway.
That's one happy young man right there.
You're right, Phil. Circumstances led a lot to that win at Dover. We talked about the fact that he came from 2 laps down, but guys were running out of gas. Guys were running into the wall. Here, he just drove up there and took this thing away from those guys.
We saw how good the 30 truck was today, as well as the 18. Both of them were out front for numerous laps. But in the end, it was the 51 who was strongest. Eric Almirola, after the final restart, took the point and never relinquished it.
Although he almost, Todd Bodine almost got there off turn 2 on that last lap.
So what a great run by Todd and Kyle Busch. Another near win here at Michigan. Not a 2nd place finish, but a 3rd place finish.
Todd Bodine.
It's hard for Ron Hornaday. We talked about Ron Hornaday's struggles at the beginning of the year and the fact that he has now worked his way back up into the top 5 in points. But it's hard to gain ground on the leader when he finishes ahead of you.
It's almost impossible.
Virtually impossible.
Eric Almirola led only 1 time today, and it was the final 7 laps of the race.
Doing some stylish burnouts. That's got to feel good for that team. Not only Eric, but that whole team.
Let's look again how Eric got the lead. 3 wide across the stripe.
What a race this was, too. Todd Bodine was on the outside where he wanted to be, where he got the momentum. But I tell you, Eric Almirola's truck was so good through the corners. He was able to run that thing flat-footed there. They shed Kyle Busch there, and they got him out of the picture. And then Eric stayed right there with Todd, and they ran side by side till Eric was finally able to get the advantage. And I think the fact that Kyle wasn't there anymore helped Eric get that advantage on Todd when he was able to get the lead.
Well, when he went down into turn 1 in the middle, you'd almost think he would have given up. You know, this isn't a good place to be. I better try to reposition myself for another run at him. But he didn't. He ran through the middle wide open, and watch, down the hill and grabs the lead, clears Todd Bodine all by himself.
Had a little bit of help from about 3-4 truck links back from Timothy Peters, but we had Kyle Busch right on the back bumper of Todd Bodine.
Eric Almirola will have a big smile on his face when he gets out of that truck in victory lane, and we'll be back for it. We're going to take a quick break. Eric Almirola muscled his way to the front in Michigan. Welcome back to Brooklyn, Michigan. Let's head right to victory lane and Ray Dunlap.
Well, there's no question about it. Chassis number 11 knows its way to victory lane, and Eric Almirola is getting pretty good at it too. 2nd win of 2010 as he rolls in here with the Graceway Pharmaceuticals truck. And Eric, if I can, I want to get your helmet here. I want everybody to see this here because he's got some pretty good graphics here, but if you'll notice the skull on the back, it's got a little gold tooth. Tell us the story there.
Yeah, we've been struggling with our luck at the beginning of the year. We just had terrible luck, and we got a new helmet, and it's got a gold tooth on it. We thought that'd change our luck, and it's 2 for 2, so that's awesome. I can't thank Graceway Pharmaceuticals enough for sticking behind us through the winter, and everybody that supports this deal, Wiley X, Coca-Cola, Billy Blue Motorsports, man, what an awesome team. This is their first win at Michigan, so I finally did something Kyle didn't do.
Where were you in the first half of the race? I didn't even notice you were out there.
Yeah, we struggled. Man, dirty air was so bad today. Clean air was so important, and we got to the front, and when we got in clean air, it just was a different truck. It drove great. It was a little bit free where I'd fought tight all day, but Richie Waters, all the guys at Billy Blue Motorsports, they worked their tails off all day, all week long, and it shows, man. We had an awesome truck, and like I said, I want to thank Graceway Pharmaceuticals. They stuck behind us, and they've been a great supporter of ours, and I want to thank the fans. What a crowd today. I was doing my burnout there, and I seen them all cheering and waving and stuff, so that's cool. That makes you feel good when you come and see a packed house like that.
Congratulations. Enjoy it. Win number 2 of 2010 for Eric Almirola.
Todd Bodine coming in to celebrate with him. And let's take a look at our Dodge save of the race, and we know what this is.
This is your leader. If you want to know how much these guys are on the edge, every lap, Todd Bodine
had to be looking at Kyle Busch's eyes about, right?
We've seen so many times where somebody gets this out of shape that they lose control of that truck. Obviously, there's a reason Kyle Busch races on Sunday, because he's really, really good.
That was our Dodge save of the race. Take a look at our point standings. Todd Bodine, 55 in front of Eric Almirola. Eric making a little dent in that lead that Todd Bodine has with this win today.
Matt Crafton led our points a year ago this time, and now he's dropped all the way back to the 10th spot.
Chris Voda, I think you're standing by with Kyle Busch.
Well, those last 8 laps at Michigan were about as wild as they get. Kyle, you tried the outside, then you tried the inside. Anything you do differently on those last closing laps, or did you give it everything you had?
We saw I pretty much gave it everything I had. So thanks to M&M's, Flexco, Toyota, all the guys that gave me a good truck today. Just suck at Michigan.
Well, and that's I know it's a tough track. I mean, guys like Hornaday, Skinner, all these other big names in the series have not won at this track. Is it just that tough of a track?
Eric Almirola did it in a 51. I've driven it for 5 years and couldn't get it.
Thanks, Kyle.
How about a frustrated Kyle Busch not being able to figure out this racetrack? And the performances that we saw coming into this, their best finish before the race, take a look at the numbers they did today.
Well, Kyle Busch is the only one on this whole list that didn't better his finish. So, Ray, you were right on the money there. If Kyle Busch is the only one of those guys that didn't better his finish, and Eric Almirola went from 36 to first, so that was a fairly good improvement.
Worst to first.
Can I remind Kyle Busch that the 2 dudes that beat him are pretty good? You know, Eric Almirola and Todd Bodine.
And it's not just a gimme. When it comes to this series, it's not just a gimme that a person like Eric Almirola is not going to be strong. Todd Bodine, people like that.
Our next truck race, Iowa Speedway for the Iowa 200. That's July 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern with Chris Voda and the setup. Those of you tuning in for F1 qualifying for Montreal, it is coming up next. We had a great one here. A little rain delay in the middle, but it was 2, 3, 4 wide all day long. We saw 3 wide for the lead at the stripe. But in the end, it was Eric Almirola who pulled the 51 into victory lane and grabbed his 2nd career win.
In 4 weeks, the Camping World Truck Series heads to the Hawkeye State. Last year, the Truck Series made its debut at the Iowa Speedway, with Mike Skinner coming out on top, shooting his guns. The gunslinger will be back to defend his title, but the competition will be ready for the fight in the Midwest. Tune in on July 11th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for the setup, hosted by Chris Voda, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.